Well, night one of the NBA draft was fun. The Suns got involved too. How about we do it again? Night two of the NBA draft coming at you after this. What's up? What's happening? Welcome into night two of PHNX Suns Draft Day Live, which is, of course, presented by our friends at 1AZ Credit Union. Night one was fun. As I said, the Suns got involved, and we'll talk about that. But before that, we got the freckled mamba behind the Mac making the magic happen. I got Steven to my right. I got Eric to my left, and I am Gil. And it became official earlier today. Koa Peat is officially a Phoenix Sun. That's what happened last night. It was a great way to end the night. The Suns traded into the first round, traded 3 second-round picks, including this year. So currently they're not slated to pick right now, 47th in this draft. But with all that said and all the dust settling, how are we feeling now, I guess, like 20, 21 hours after Koa Peat initially became a Phoenix Sun?
Basketball aside, it's one of the coolest stories in the draft last night, and that is something to root for if you are a Suns fan. The more I think about it, the higher I get on the pick. It's not that there's a chance that Koa isn't a good player, which I do think that there is a chance that some of the flaws that haunt him and that so many draft analysts obviously are afraid of maybe do come to life, unfortunately. That's certainly on the table, but when you start laying out the situation like we did last night, a really talented blue blood player who is somebody who's won at every level, was supposed to go in the top 10, maybe top 5, ends up falling to 30, is in a situation where there's not going to be a lot on his shoulders. He's close to home with a good coaching staff. I mean, I think it's great for every party involved, and he's unlike any other prospect the Suns have. And that's also really fun, Steven. I think basketball-wise, it fits well, and I think culture-wise, it fits well, and you can't ask for much more than that with the 30th pick in the draft.
Yeah, the exercise I like to use because there's a lot of reasons why sometimes I feel like things get misseen or misnoticed. Just to close your eyes and just think about, okay, if a player had XYZ numbers in XYZ situation, and you applied it to the Suns situation, would you be great? Would you be good with that? Or would you be like, or would you be like, nah? So let's close our eyes.
Oh, I already closed. My bad.
Okay, my bad. My bad.
I did too early. My bad.
Gil's Mr. Listen.
Teacher's pet.
Close your eyes. If I tell you the Suns are able to trade up into the first round and they draft a player that averaged 17 points and 7 rebounds, shot 47% from 2, and got to the free throw line a little bit over 5 times, shooting almost 80% on those attempts in the national tournament and made it to the national championship game. If I told you the Suns were bringing in a piece and that piece also matched the positional need for the team, would you be good with that? Would you be meh, or would you be nah, I'm good?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have a jump shot? No, I would be good with that. I think that's a great point, Steven. I think especially the fact that his averages that you see on the screen are for the regular season, and then obviously the averages in the tournament go up, and that's when I'm going to be honest, as somebody who watched a lot of U of A basketball, watched a lot of Big 12 basketball, and covered games where ASU played them. The concern with U of A was when they got to the tournament, the lack of shooting and teams being able to key in on some of their offensive weaknesses, like they might get upset in a tournament if a team gets hot or if they can't hit any threes. Yep. And Koa and Braden Burries, and we talked a lot about Burries yesterday too, were really good in the tournament. And Koa on both sides of the ball. Was he perfect? No. Were centers sagging off of him and allowing him to shoot at times? Yeah. But defensively, he was great. Offensively, he was great. And the free throw numbers, that to me, Gil, is a really good sign where his free throw numbers over the season weren't great, but when the pressure was the highest and when he got to the line at a pretty good sample size, he got actually a better free throw percentage when the lights got brighter.
And that's what we hear a lot from front office executives and coaches when you talk about development as a shooter. where if there's any type of inkling or something to latch on to as, oh, well, they made him when they counted, they have some type of form. And we've heard about his shot. They're breaking it down to build it back up again. And that brings me to the larger point, because I got a little flack for saying this is a top 5 or 10 talent in this draft. Ooh. And I want to say that I'm standing by that, because you're a top 5 or 10 talent does not mean you're a top 5 or 10 player. Those are two different things. And I think that is what happened as far as him falling where he did, because there are guys who are more better players. They've put the talent and their skill and their know-how and all of that together quicker than he has. But the way I see it is, you just drafted a 2027 lottery pick. So you have him a year earlier. He's 19 years old, and you're not going to be in a lottery. You hope not to be in a lottery with the way you want to compete next year. And you got somebody who probably would have been a lottery pick next year had they gone back to school, and I tweeted this, but you get to do this development under your tutelage, under the Suns system, and what you want him to grow into becoming. And this could very much look like a steal in 2 years' time, and where he has a year this year, kind of like a redshirt year, but he's learning the NBA game. And then when he's 20 years old in year 2, he's dominating and looking like one of the best sophomores in the NBA. So that's the way I'm looking at it. It's a big picture situation, especially for a franchise who is pretty limited in the ways they can add young talent. You add Mr. Arizona, and that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, you don't bat your eye or pass up on an opportunity to get someone that checks off those boxes, not just for your team, but just as an individual standalone piece. And then if you factor in being able to add that piece to everything that you established in the first season of this new era of Suns basketball, it just makes a lot of sense. You get the hometown piece of being able to pull in fans on the emotional side just for having someone that's from the surrounding areas of Phoenix. Obviously, you get the tax in addition to that by him going to an in-state school, the powerhouse basketball school, and everything that comes with that. It's a fun story for sure. I think, Eric, you mentioned that a little bit earlier. But I think it's also a very interesting gamble that I don't feel like you do if you're not confident in what it is you're able to get out of players. And I think I want to continue to emphasize that part, because that's what the Suns did with each of their picks in last year's draft. They got it in different levels, but each one of them finished the season leaps and bounds better than they did starting the season as professionals. And I imagine Koa Peat is going to be able to reap the benefits of the successes those guys had last year, but the better understanding of what the development team needs to do to get those guys up to speed and start actualizing some of that potential.
So we talk a lot about Koa Peat and how he got here and how much or how badly the Suns wanted to get him and what they did to acquire him. Let's take a look at the 4-team trade that resulted in the Suns getting the rights to Koa Peat, the 30th overall pick. It was a 4-team deal. Lakers got Cameron Carr, who went 24th in the first round. The Mavericks get Sergio De La Rey, who went 1 pick after Carr at 25th. The Suns get Koa Peat at the 30th pick, and the Knicks, who initially had that 25th pick, traded 30 to they swapped 30 with Dallas, and then they took Koa Peat for the Suns. They get 5 second-round picks, 3 of which come from the Phoenix Suns. This year's pick, which is the 47th overall pick, 2029, and a 2033 second-round pick, I believe it is. So it's a lot down the line, and when you think about that price in this deal, does that seem pretty fair? Like, I know yesterday when I told you what it was, you were like, that's a great deal.
And Gambo reported, and Gambo has been on top of this entire thing, that it would actually have been more expensive to get into the front of the second round because teams want to pay less money to these guys. So these first couple picks of the second round, besides the Knicks, who, by the way, has traded the 31st pick and the 55th pick to Houston for 39 and 53, and another second rounder, that beginning of the second round becomes so valuable. And we'll take a look at my big board that I have up here in a second. But the beginning of the second round, we saw it with Rasheer. It's so valuable because you can get a lot of these really good players that you might have first round grades on at a second round contract. So the Suns liked Koa enough to trade a couple second round picks, make sure that they got him, and then also gave him a first round contract, and also did some pretty good business with Clutch. Rasheer, I believe, is a Clutch guy. Kaman is a Clutch guy. And now you have Koa Peat, who is also a Clutch guy.
Dillon Brooks is a Clutch guy. There's talks of extensions with that.
Yeah.
The list keeps going on and on.
It's good to be on Clutch's good side. But let's take a look at my 10 favorite players that we have left here at the beginning of the second round. We could talk a little more about Koa Peat later, but starting at the top and working my way down, this is my best available. Isaiah Evans, guard forward out of Duke. is a really, really good offensive player, really good shooter, showed a little bit more than just shooting at Duke, even though it's going to be his NBA skill at a good size as well. I've got Henry Visar, who I know we got into it a lot about Visar versus Peat. I think there still is an argument that a player like Visar, a center who can be nasty but also stretch it out to the three-point line and is a little older, more ready to play now. I also had a first-round grade on him, so that's also somebody that I felt like could have fit well with the Suns if they moved up to the beginning of the second round. I have him as my second best player still available, Malik Thomas. Vesar, sorry, not Visar. Vesar. I just don't like these Arizona guys. Get their names wrong. I got Malik Thomas, shooting guard out of Arkansas at 3. Baba Miller, of course, is somebody that Suns fans had identified as a player they wanted the Suns to trade up for out of Cincinnati, just a defensive demon. Bruce Thornton, who's somebody that I went in and watched a lot more after we had Ben Pfeiffer on the show. Jordan Goodwin-esque with the build over at Ohio State, with a little bit more to his game offensively. I've got Jaden Bradley as my 6th best player available. I think that he'll be gone before the 40s. I think Jaden Bradley is somebody that Suns fans have done a lot of research on. I've got Ryan Conwell at 7, Trevon Brazile at 8, Braden Smith at 9, and Richie Saunders at 10. How do you guys feel about my 10 best players still available?
I hate it.
Okay.
That's terrible. Go back to the drawing board. No,
Okay.
seriously.
Sure, man.
No, seriously. Looking at these names, it makes sense. A lot of guys who I expected to hear their name called yesterday. Quite frankly, Isaiah Evans specifically was invited to the green room yesterday. Had Bob Miller as a guy who we thought might have made a leap into the first round. We know his limitations are his limitations, but recognize why he is what many consider to be a draft darling, given his measurements, given his strengths. So those are 2 names that pop out. And obviously, Braden Smith is a guy who I always look at heady guards in college, guys who had that knack for playmaking. I mean, that last year was Nimhard, right, who led the NCAA, led Division I in assists per game, and that translated to the next level. Braden Smith is the all-time assist leader, if I remember correctly. I think he broke Bobby Hurley's record
he did
this
break
past
it.
season.
Even though he didn't lead the country.
He didn't lead the country assists, but
he didn't, because there was Fears Jr. That guy.
Yeah,
That guy's pretty
That
good.
guy's pretty
Shout
good.
out Sparty.
Yeah, there you go. Can't get without that. But I think that his playmaking will translate to the next level. So a team in the back half of the second round who might need some distribution on their team. But it's always intriguing, Stephen, when I think about the second round of the draft, because when you get to like 40, 41, you start seeing agents tell teams, "No, don't draft my guy. I'd rather pick where I go, and we're going to get him on a 2-way contract." So a lot of these names that we see might not be selected just because it's more advantageous for them to go undrafted, which is kind of crazy to say out loud.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Braden Smith, because that's a name I had in mind. Another that I had in mind that I'm definitely keeping an eye on in the first maybe 10 to 15 picks is Jack Cahill from over in Berlin.
Yeah.
That's another guy, another guard, kind of cut from a similar cloth of Braden Smith. Not the biggest guy, only 175 in terms of pounds, and then only 6'3" as well.
How many
but
kilograms?
Not my language. A bucket, 175.
So probably 80, 82, 80, yeah.
I don't know
Sure.
kilograms.
Sure. A bucket, though. A bucket can get there on his own accord, can get there in multiple ways on his own accord. The finishing can be a little bit middling at times. You want to see how that translates stateside and all of those things. But it's a guy that's gotten a lot of things done on the international circuit, which has garnered attention over here.
So let's talk about this first pick in the second round. It will be the Houston Rockets, who I did not make a first-round pick. A lot of Rockets fans were asking for them to trade into the first round. They didn't. There's a lot of good shooters here. Does it feel like Isaiah Evans is the best choice for this Houston team? Is it Vesar, who is a big that can shoot, might be a fun addition to them, especially who knows about the health of Steven Adams going forward? Malik Thomas is a dynamic guard. That's also somebody that could fit in here. Where do you guys see Houston going via trade with the Knicks in this first pick of the second round?
I think they should be taking Evans. They need the shooting. They need another guard that can do some things on their own accord in some capacity. Obviously, you get the hitter Fred VanVleet coming back, so that helps for sure. But I think they need a little bit of a breath of fresh air to the guard group in particular to kind of expedite things, or maybe just take the next step in whatever it is that they're trying to do play style wise.
I like Evans because I like the shooting coming from the wing instead of it being a stretch big type guy like Vesar. So I don't necessarily expect it to be Evans. I think that Houston could go out of left field
and get
somebody who's maybe not even on this list. I don't. It's a great question. I don't know.
Do you think, okay, so the Van Fleet stuff is interesting, right?
Yeah.
So coming off of an injury, a lot is being put on his shoulders. Guard play was really rough for them with Reed Sheppard not
got better this
exactly
past
stepping
year.
in there. Like, he got better, but let's be honest here. Reed Sheppard didn't do anything that I think would cement you as feeling comfortable with him being your primary guard.
No, but
I
think Reed Sheppard is like one of the reminders to be patient with some young guards, though. Well,
but do you think they get in? But here's the thing: is that's one young guard, and even if Van Vliet's back and better, he's not on the same timeline as Amen. He's not on the same timeline as Şengün. He's around closer to the same timeline as Kevin Durant. So, do you go get a guard? And per Russell Smith, per Brett Siegel, they are selecting Bruce Thornton, who I have 5 on my big board, which is a really good guard that can guard. How do we feel about the Bruce Thornton fit in Houston if the Russell reports? Ooh, I kind of like that. Russell reports.
I'm going immediately to see what he shot from 3 this past year.
I think he was okay.
40%.
Yeah, I think he was good. I don't know if he was high volume.
That would be my next episode. That's the next thing. He took just under 5 a game.
I mean, that's good enough volume.
He's going to get some good looks off of the guys he's playing next to.
And he's very different than a Reed Sheppard. I guess you have your pure shooter at the guard position in Reed Sheppard. Now you have somebody that can actually guard. That's why Reed didn't play a lot, is because Ime didn't trust him to guard. And this is somebody that Ime will trust to guard.
A rookie, though. It's always tough when you think about that because of the
sneeze or a laugh?
The developmental time, a chuckle. The developmental timeline thing, though, because it is a lot to ask of a rookie. Because the Rockets are a franchise and a team that made the Kevin Durant trade. They did trade for a guy named Kevin Durant, and they gutted their roster and parted ways with 2 very talented guys who I'm sure their fan base appreciates them wherever they landed. But you make that trade to win a championship during that window. This isn't a team that's trying to lose in the first round the way they did this year. Like they have to get much further than they did this past year. So my question is a rookie guard that's known for their defense really going to bring you any closer than that? Are you putting a lot of pressure on Fred VanVleet to get healthy and just fix everything and he's healthy, and also Reed Sheppard making a year 3 leap? Those are a lot of things to ask for that guard group. So that's why it felt like more of a role player, step in, catch and shoot guy made more sense for them. But hey, their front office, not ours.
Yeah, and there are some concerns about his defense. I think he's going to be a good defender. Personally, he has a good frame. He's 6'1.25", but a 6'5" wingspan. So a plus wingspan there. He averaged 20 points per game in college. So this is somebody that can also handle the scoring burden, and he's a senior, right? So how do you feel about if it is Bruce Thornton, Steven?
I mean, he makes a little bit of sense for them. They've been a team that likes their players on the positional size spectrum to be bigger. I think that's why some of the questions they had with Reed Sheppard came up the way they did last season. But here comes the pick for the Houston Rockets.
I wonder who it is. I do appreciate the vibes that Mark Tatum brings.
He's always smiling.
Much better than the Adam Silver vibes. Bruce Thornton, guard,
Bruce
Ohio
Thornton.
State. OH, right, Ayrton? Yeah, IO.
Sumu?
Yes, IO to Sumu.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know. I like this pick for Houston. I think if you're gonna select at the top of the second round, getting a guard is good. I probably would have gone with Isaiah Evans, but I wonder what this says about how they feel about Reed Sheppard or the health of Fred VanVleet. Not that a second round pick is gonna go out and completely upset the balance of your guard room, but they probably had a first round evaluation on him, considering they traded up to the beginning of the second round to get him, the same way that the Suns probably had a first round evaluation on Rasheer. So I'm curious what this means for that guard rotation in Houston.
It felt like they also have needed another younger player in their guard group to kind of look to develop over time outside of Reed himself, because everybody else is ready to play now. Obviously, ready to play now. Fred VanVleet is the opposite side of the young side of the spectrum. So they needed a little bit of a breath of fresh air, like I was saying before we saw Mr. Tatum come in and do what he does best.
Very granular, but this feels like a J.D. Davison replacement. That's a guy who they trusted a little more than you expected to. He never really got a fair shot in Boston. He ended up in Houston, and he was part of the rotation, but you don't really need the use for both of them. And I pointed at the screen because I saw that he's the all-time leading scorer in Ohio State history, which I had no idea that he had that.
Guessed that.
A lot of people have worn that uniform. A lot of Buckeye buckets for sure.
Jared Sullinger.
Jim Jackson.
Mike Conley.
You know what I mean? Like
Michael
a lot
Redd.
of which I mean, a lot of those guys that were only there for a year or so.
Yeah,
but like
facts.
like Michael Redd or Jim Jackson, those guys who were there for a really long time, that he scored more points than those guys at 6'1", 6'2", whatever they want to list him at. So you know what he does as far as that goes, and you can fill it up. And he's playing next to some serious guys. So to be able to play off of what they create for you is something.
Ooh, and Memphis already has their pick in, which is fascinating.
Speed round.
Speaking to Vanessa Richardson, which is also who he'll be talking to all season long.
There you go.
Pretty cool too.
It's aligned.
With Bruce, some of the concerns about his defense came with how much of a load he was carrying on offense, and he was everything for Ohio State. Obviously, their leading scorer, but like this past season was just everything offensively. I think with his tools, with his wingspan, he's going to be a much better defender when he's on a team with Kevin Durant and Alperen Şengün, and he's not going to be the hub of the offense. Plus, defensively, he's going to be guarding next to a guy like Amen Thompson or Tari Eason if he comes back in free agency, Jabari Smith Jr. So I think Bruce Thornton's going to be insulated very well. I would have gone with Isaiah Evans. I wonder if that's where Memphis goes, considering that they took 2 forwards in the first round in Cam Boozer and Kareem Lopez. So I wonder if they go Isaiah Evans to get a guard forward shooter and to mix in with their post presences. That's still my number one player that I have on my board. Would you guys go with Isaiah Evans? Here's it just, if Isaiah Evans doesn't get picked for every team coming up, should they take Isaiah Evans next?
I like him to the Nets only because I saw that clip of him saying his first jersey he ever bought was a Nets James Harden jersey, which I never felt older.
Yikes.
Like, yeah, you know, the Nets were the team to beat at the time. I thought they were going to win, so I got a James Harden Nets jersey, which is crazy. But on the flip side, too, I also saw him play when he was a sophomore in high school. So now it's like, he's
for real.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
By the way, Russell report's still coming in here. Apparently, Brett Siegel is going to be what Shams has been for the draft and tipping off every single pick. Looks like they're taking Richie Saunders.
I was going to say, I wonder how long Richie's going to be on the board. I wasn't aware that was going to be the pick. Makes sense, though. He would have made sense for Houston as well for some of the same reasons we just got.
He's a great shooter.
Thorn with, yep.
He's also, I think, 25 years old.
He's Yaxel age.
So he's young. Did you see that stat that Yaxel Landenberg is a week older than Jonathan Kuminga?
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Wow.
That is actually pretty
That's
crazy.
actually pretty nuts. Like, there's 2 Warriors draft picks like 5 years apart, 6 years apart, and
he's a week older.
A week older than the guy that was drafted.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Richie. BYU got another Big 12 player. Didn't have him too high in my top 10 players I had coming into the second round.
But you had him there.
But I had him there. I think the shooting is the translatable skill here. And he's a good size for shooting as well, which is very needed for a team like Memphis. I like them going with a shooter in general. Do you feel like, Steven, he could be more than a shooter at the next level? Or is that just kind of like you get a guy with a specific skill and you just kind of run him out there? Is that?
I think he could be more than just a shooter. He has a little bit more to his game. Shout out Kevin Young. Kevin Young is going to extract as much out of his guys in terms of their potential and usage, especially offensively, as he possibly can. And I feel like we saw that in a handful of the games, in a couple of games I was able to catch at BYU's this season. First thing that stood out to me was obviously you have AJ. But once you get past AJ and then AJ and then AJ again, now you're starting to see Richie Saunders and you're like, man, this dude can hoop. Man, Kevin Young's got this dude doing a bunch of stuff. You got shallow cuts here. You got ghost screens there. You got him running some pick and roll here, just spotting up or a pass away or second side of AJ. Like all of that little stuff, all of that usage translates easily to the NBA on top of the nuance side of it that Kevin Young, naturally coming from the NBA, kind of has in these guys' wheelhouse already. So I think it works. And the fact that he's a little bit older means that he has a breadth of experience with Kevin Young in particular. So I think he's more than ready to kind of shoulder some of that usage and be kind of Grayson Allen-esque in that kind of versatility of usage on offense.
I want to say, wasn't Sam Merrill an older rookie too? So a guy who came in because he's
I think he could be a great role player.
Yeah,
he's 6'6" and a quarter with a plus wingspan and a good shooter. So great size for his position. He'll probably be playing like shooting guard, small forward, and a really good shooter.
Also, got to give a shout out to everybody in the chat for sure, but also hello from Italy, Micro Rizzigati. Shout out to you out in Italy and appreciate you showing love. Appreciate you having us, hanging out with us here on
Tony
draft
with
night.
The breaking news says we got Koa Peat.
For what?
Huh?
They got who? Who said what?
That's crazy.
That is wild. It's a great pickup.
Who's your source?
Great pickup. Yeah, that's true. It's like your source.
It's the Russell
report. A lot of source talk these days.
Per Russell Smith. So with Brooklyn,
2 for 2 tonight.
So Isaiah Evans, Vesar, I think my top three or four are still.
So I know I said, but I
available.
kind of jokingly said it because of the James Harden thing, but I actually don't want Isaiah Evans in Brooklyn.
Why?
They just got too much going on, like on the guard and on the wing
They have a
situation.
lot of young players.
Yeah, I just think I'm trying to remember if San Antonio moved that pick and what's going on with the reported trades or what have you.
Oh wait, that's Minnesota.
This is Minnesota's pick.
This is Minnesota because this is the Julius Randle trade.
I like this I like Minnesota for him.
Isaiah Evans for Minnesota.
I like that.
Do they go with a forward?
That's crazy, by the way.
Wow.
Oh yeah, his great grandfather. Yeah.
Invented the tater tot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That.
So if you watched a lot of Big 12 basketball this year, you hear that all the time. Did you know that Richie Saunders' great grandfather invented the tater tot?
Jordan Knott was a rookie coach.
Did you guys know that Ish Wainwright played football? These picks are going by fast.
Oh, it's the speed round, man.
So this is going to be going to Minnesota. Isaiah Evans is 6'6" and 3/4 with an almost 6'9" wingspan. Obviously not a forward, but could fit in well next to Edwards, next to Jaden McDaniels, next to Naz Reid. Do you think they go with a bigger forward though because they traded Julius Randle, or is that Jan Berenger's job?
They do. I mean, I think they believe a lot in him because that was one of the guys that they said is untouchable in trade talks. He's special. He's a young French guy learning under Rudy Gobert. They also have, I believe, Rocco Zikarsky. I want to say.
Yeah, Rocco was like 7'3".
He was the tallest guy in the draft last year. So those are two guys where I think they might view them as they list them at 7'3", view as the future of their front court if they can trust him to play. He's on a 2-way contract last year. So maybe they go best pick available. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think too, just generally speaking with the Timberwolves. People talking about like save Ant, keep Ant. Like, do you think that they're in that like type of panic emergency mode with every move that they make? Like the time is ticking, or I don't know.
I think they just need to find a piece that not necessarily replaces Julius Randle, because I think that's why you promote Naz Reid internally the way that you have. But you need to find somebody that's going to be able to come in and contribute for you in some capacity, whether it's, hey, we need a little bit more shooting in the room, so let's make sure we get somebody that has a top-tier skill that translates immediately on kind of coming into our room and can kind of add to us for that. So however they view that, whether that be someone defensively in the front court to go around Naz Reid and all the shooting that he provides, like it needs to be somebody that they're surefire that their top tier skill is going to hit and allow them to play a 10 to 12 minute run come into the regular season going into the playoffs for them.
It looks like it's going to be Isaiah Evans per Russell Reports via Brett Siegel. I also want to say one of the reasons why I had Saunders a little bit lower on my top 10 is because he is recovering from an ACL tear that happened late in the season. So I don't think he's going to be ready for the NBA season. So he might not start his NBA career until he is past 25. Mm-hmm. So again, everybody's journey is different. He can still be a good NBA player, but I would have gone with Isaiah Evans there if I was Memphis, which I believe that is what
Isaiah Evans 3 for 3 of the.
I think it's a great pick.
I like it a lot. We talk about the things he does well, scoring off the ball and just like microwave ability. There are games where it's 3, 4, 5 threes in the first half, and he's up to 15, 18 points at half. Now he's got a chance to play off of Anthony Edwards. I'm still curious what their lead guard situation is going to look like. I know they gave Ayo a lot of money, and you don't give him that much money to not start. The whole Dante DiVincenzo, Achilles situation, don't expect to see him at all this season, but I do think that there are some holes in that Timberwolves roster, but I do think that they're a franchise and organization that's run very well, and they have a vision, and every move that they've made has paid off. The cat trade, maybe, especially when you look at it after the fact, but I do like this pick and like that as a landing spot for Isaiah Evans.
He fascinates me if he could do a little bit more with the off-ball scoring, especially because Ant's going to draw so much attention as well, to where if he can add a little bit of that midi game, a little bit getting to the paint, that's going to be a fun addition to their backcourt room. Maybe they're looking at him as somebody who can slide in and eat some minutes during the regular season. He got a green room invite, so he was supposed to be a first-round pick in a lot of people's eyes. So let's imagine the Timberwolves are adding in their eyes a first-round pick. That could be somebody they see slot in the rotation, maybe take Dante DiVincenzo's minutes from the backcourt as he recovers from his injury. So I don't mind that at all. I do want to answer from our biggest fan in Italy who asked, are we trading for a pick? What do you think? Feels like the Suns aren't going to be trading for a pick. Steven, do you feel like that's the right move for them? I mean, they are out of roster spots, but should they try to free up a roster spot and try to trade up into the second round here?
That's what I was gonna say. Tyrone Biggins, me. You got any more of those roster spots? Because if you don't,
2 days in a
what good
row.
is it? What good is it?
2 days in a
No,
row.
what good is it going that route if you don't have any spots available for a guy? So unless they find somebody that's just undeniably like, if that guy's available after 10 spots, we do what we need to do transactionally to bring him in our room, run him through the summer league circuit, see if he can make the final roster through training camp. If that makes sense for them, cool. But I feel like they've done their work with finding a way to go and get Koa Peat the way that they did at that 30th pick last night at the buzzer.
I know we haven't heard anything about Isaiah Livers, but do we think they're going to open up a two-way spot?
That's what I think. I think that CJ Huntley's coming back already. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bray, I would expect to be back, but I don't necessarily know if Isaiah Livers is going to be back. And I do think that a two-way spot, I'm more prone to thinking that it would be an undrafted free agent that gets that spot. But if there's somebody you really, really want, you don't think they're going to make it past 60, maybe you get back in and maybe buy a pick for a two-way spot.
Looks like it's going to be Malik Thomas out of Arkansas. I know it says to Sacramento, which people would think he's going to go play with Acuff again, but he will be going to the Cavs, which is interesting. They drafted a guard in the second round last year in Tyrese Proctor. So
Right.
do we think that Malik Thomas is somebody that can get any run on a Cavs team this upcoming season that's trying to get a little bit better from an Eastern Conference Finals run?
Not happening. Well, I won't say not happening. I think it's unlikely.
Because they traded for Keon and
Right.
for Dennis Schroeder.
Yep.
Keon's a free agent though.
Oh, Keon. Okay, that's right. Keon's a free agent, but who
And
knows what
Dennis
his
is a free
market's going to be
agent
at.
as well.
So there might be room in that guard rotation for him.
I just don't. I personally don't see it. If it happens, that means he must have really hit some type of flow state to keep a main rotation spot within Kenny Atkinson's, especially in a season where it feels like most people are surprised Kenny's been extended an extra opportunity. They're in desperation mode, and I don't think they're gonna have much room for having someone try to come in and get up to speed. Everybody's got to hit the ground running for that group because they have championship expectations, as they should, considering who's coaching them and all the players at the top of their roster.
Random
right now.
question: could you see Malik Thomas in green? Do you think he could play well in Boston? Could you imagine that?
I could.
Just saying. I know there's been talks. I know Shams came on and said that the Jalen Brown trade talks are continuing, and one of the potential landing spots would be a Evan Mobley deal, which I don't know if that is something that could happen, but I would assume that if that were to happen, then any young guys that they're taking would be involved in that as well. So that's just a thought exercise I'm throwing out there that maybe these picks could be made with a bigger picture in mind.
Apparently, Boston likes Evan Mobley, and the Lakers like Jarrett Allen to the extent of being willing to trade one of their two best players, respectively,
LeBron and Jalen Brown on the Cavs.
Sure.
With James Harden and Donovan Mitchell.
I think what I really like about Malik Thomas is somebody who's coming out as a freshman, as a 19-year-old, is that he was, I think, the 11th best player in his high school class.
Right.
And he came in and he played, I'd say, a more off-ball role with Acuff there, obviously kind of leading the way. And to be that age, to go from being the guy and then at a really good school in Arkansas with a lot of expectations, to go and be a little bit better as I don't say a role player, but definitely more of a role player than what he was at high school and honestly what he should have been recruiting-wise. So buying into that role and being able to play well alongside an offensive engine like Acuff, but still be able to average almost 16 points per game on 41.6% shooting from deep on over 5 attempts per game. This is somebody that I feel like in the NBA will do a pretty good job of adapting to whatever role he needs to be in. Now, the Cavs are obviously going to be in a position to win, but if they lose Keon and they lose Schroeder, you look at that guard rotation and say, well, do they need somebody else in there if they can't go out there and pick somebody else up in free agency that's more of a vet? He played like a vet at Arkansas, even though he is a lot younger. It's a long shot for any 19, 20-year-old to get rotation minutes, Gil, but the way that he played alongside Acuff, I found really encouraging.
As fun as that sounds, and I agree with you, I think it's more of a long shot for a guard at that age. I think if it's a big player or a wing that's usually asking to go run and cut and do things like like that, great. We'll play you for 8, 10, 12, 15 minutes. If you're a team that's looking to win and compete, if you're a team that's just trying to focus on develop and focus on the future, yeah, go knock yourself out. Do whatever you need to do. Learn the game that way. But for a guard, it is so difficult to play for a team as a young guard for a team that's looking to compete in whatever conference they're in, looking to win big. And also, side note, Chris, great point, Livers is no longer, I look it up, 4 years of NBA service, meaning
So no longer
eligible
eligible.
for. So
I
it's
just
not a roster spot, so there will be a two-way spot open.
which is unfortunate. I thought that Livers had some good minutes this past season, but I'd rather use that spot for another young player and see if anybody goes undrafted.
Which they're gonna have to.
Yeah, or I mean, you could still have somebody in the second round be a two-way draft pick, like a Kobe Brea, right? So if you see somebody who's like at 54, 50-ish that you want to trade up for and say, okay, we want this player in our system. We don't want anybody else to go out there and sign him. Let's go trade some cash, which they still have the ability to do for a second-round pick and then get him for a two-way. I do think that's on the table for the Suns tonight. I'd be shocked if they did that just from an asset perspective. They traded cash also in that Koa Peat trade, so they have already traded cash plus draft picks for another draft pick. So I think they're going to go with an undrafted free agent.
Did Gersh just become a member?
Gersh did just become a member.
Just became a member. So
MVP.
MVP.
So the pick is in for the Denver Nuggets, of course, via the San Antonio Spurs. I believe this was a trade that happened last night.
Yes, toward the end of the last night.
Let's see who they take. They could use a little bit of everything, and I'm sure they want a rotation player on a rookie contract because they're trying to save a lot of money. Let's see here. Trevon Brazile.
Is that back-to-back
Arkansas. This guy's fun.
Yes, he is.
He's a wrecking ball of
and just like different types of finishes around the rim. Like I feel like every time I turned Arkansas, he was above the rim. He was finishing some type of reverse, some type of lob, as they're talking about right now. It's interesting. Interesting in Denver.
I like Trevon Brazile for Denver for a few reasons. Most notably for me though, I look at what they had as a defensive template for success, going back to Mike Malone and naturally transitioning. I don't know why the coach his name just blew out my head right now. But
David Adelman?
Yeah, David Adelman. I was thinking about his pops.
Yeah.
Yes, David Adelman. Essentially the same defensive principles. They did a little bit more with Jokic at the level last season, and that just puts a little bit more strain on your defense around him. So if you have not the most athleticism, but you're playing a activity-based defense, you have a fine-tooth comb of a needle you're trying to thread. You add someone like Trevon Brazile that can be just a wrecking ball and play multiple spots within that and add impact. Now your defense hits a little different. So I like that gift. I like that gift for them for that. He has some offensive potential as a cutter, being an athlete around Jokic and Murray and Gordon and Brown. And everything that is the cohesion that they have within Adelman's offense, and it is his offense because it's been that for like 4 years now. I like that gift for them a lot.
So my thing I was thinking about too, that's exactly what I was thinking. A player like that, we can plug and play a team that's trying to win. He can go run around, cut. Jokic just be ready when Jokic finds you and be ready to go catch it and dunk it or do that. My question though, do you think that is more Peyton Watson insurance, or is it Peyton Watson kind of run on sentence? You think it's just another guy to replicate what he does?
I feel like they want someone that can do what he's doing, but also do it in a bigger capacity. So maybe in tandem with P. Watt.
I think it's Teron Holmes insurance because that is kind of what he was supposed to be. Right? This big that can play off ball. Now, Teron Holmes definitely had more of a jump shot, a little bit more of a holistic offensive game coming out of Dayton last year, but kind of feels like insurance for him. I think him and Watson can play together. I don't know if you draft somebody in the second round to replace the guy that's going to be getting a good amount of money this offseason. I think you draft him so that you can trade somebody else and have a guy on a second round rookie contract that costs a lot less money to play alongside Peyton Watson. Plus, he can move the ball a little bit. He seems like a pretty smart passer. This is the type of player that fits in really well next to Jokic. We saw them try with that backup big role Valanciunas last year, and it just didn't work out that great for them. I think you're just going to need some athletic counterparts to Nikola Jokic, whether he's on the court or off the court. It's just good for him to have athletes at that forward and center position. Even what Aaron Gordon is still kind of left as a plus athlete is a really great fit. So I like this pick for him a lot. He was in my top 10 players coming into the second round here. I wouldn't have been surprised if they went with Vesar either, just because he's a little bit more mobile than Valanciunas and he can still shoot that three. They do need a backup big because I think Valanciunas is still trying to go overseas. I think I saw some reports for that. So it'll be definitely fascinating for them. But the pick is in for the Clippers, who have not traded their pick like every other team in this round. Who do we think the Clippers take after going with Keaton Wagler last night at number 5?
Could this be the Baba Miller spot?
That's what I'm thinking. Because one thing about Ty Lue, he's going to coach some defense.
He sure is.
One thing Baba can do is some defense.
But the only thing Baba can do, if we're being completely honest with each other.
Does it at a high level. And that's the thing we talk about with them. And they probably, I mean, they have questions everywhere. Sure. But the questions that have the murkiest answers are the front court. You know, Yannick Cohen Niederhauser coming back from injury. Still a lot to ask of him. You got, 40-year-old Brook Lopez. Is he coming back to play with them again? John
Should Brook
Collins
Lopez mentor Henry Vesar?
I mean, it's something that crossed my mind as I was talking through like the best center available, and that would be a good mentor for him.
He's really he's like the only center still with a pretty high grade that's available. Like a lot of these guys that were at the beginning of the second round and in like these 30 to 40s picks, it was a lot of guards, ton of guards. We heard a ton about the guard depth of this class, and then a couple of forwards, including Baba Miller, who, I mean, maybe you draft Baba Miller as a forward center and say, hey, put him in a room with Kawhi, and now we could start even more comparisons, like, is Baba Miller the next Kawhi once he hits a three-pointer? But
boy, oh boy.
I think Baba Miller could play alongside Kawhi Leonard. I think he'd play alongside Brook Lopez, would actually be a pretty good foil to Brook Lopez at his age with his mobility issues, but the plus shooting, which are kind of the opposite of what Baba Miller. Yeah, so. That is true. Let's see if they do. Yeah, Baba Miller it is. Okay, I like that. I like that for the Clippers. The beginning of the second round, I think, has had a lot of strong players.
I think that's a smart pick for a team that wants more defense, that wants more ways to go about playing defense in a way that Ty Lue and his staff desire to. He definitely helps them do that immediately. Everything else might have some question marks, but one thing is not his defense and his motor.
And that's the thing that we've talked about with them. And I know there were some laughs about they're not parting ways with who they're parting ways with to keep their young core intact. But thinking about what they're trying to do life after Kawhi, we have no idea what's going to happen with that situation. At this point, maybe nothing's going to happen. But situation in that Wagler last night, they have Benedict Mathurin as a restricted free agent. Have Darius Garland, now have Miller to add to that crop of young guys on that roster. They're trying to build something sustainable beyond this just to give themselves some type of insurance or fallback in case this last era really is going to be as fruitless as it has proven to be up to this point.
Yeah, with Baba Miller gone, let's go ahead and take a look at my best available players I had coming into the second round here. My second best available player, Henry Vesar, still on the board for OKC here at pick number 37. I don't think they're going to go with a big.
Have you heard what's going on, though?
No.
The report.
Oh, is there a trade?
The Lakers are attempting to acquire this pick to acquire Henry Vesar. That's what they want.
I think that'd be, unfortunately, really good for the Lakers.
Yes.
If they can get Vesar, that would be awesome next to Cam Carr. I think those are two really good fits next to Doncic and Reeves, who got his extension as well.
Hey.
A lot of money. Jaden Bradley's still on the board. He's now my second best player that I still have available. I'm very high on Jaden Bradley. He is a true winner. Maybe a guard that you could look at for a team like Chicago coming up here. Ryan Conwell is also somebody who's a guard. I have pretty much all guards left besides Vesar.
This guy likes guards.
And Braden Smith. I just think that, again, when you get the depth in this class, especially in the second round, there's just a ton of guards to like. I think Braden Smith and Jaden Bradley are your more safe picks. Conwell's more of an upside pick. But Vesar feels like he's got to be the pick here. And if I'm OKC, I'm not taking Vesar because I drafted a Demara. So I feel like OKC can probably get a couple second round picks here if the Lakers are trying to move up. I'm pretty sure the Lakers bought a pick to move into the second round earlier today from the Chicago Bulls. So I wonder if they're going to use that pick plus another pick to try to move up here and get Vesar. But I had a first round grade on Vesar. So if any team can get him at 37, that would be really, really good.
It's interesting when I think about Oklahoma City because this is another team that those aprons are coming for him. They're coming for him like the boogeyman. And we saw some reporting that Isaiah Joe could be the next one out, and that's what they envisioned Sturts being for them, a guy who can come in and take a lot of those minutes that Joe was having. We already saw them part ways with Aaron Wiggins for cap relief. So I think that if the Thunder hold on to this pick, we could see a situation in that there are making picks to give themselves insurance. I know I asked about that with Peyton Watson, just in the sense of this is a team that needs to understand that they are keeping their three intact and anything could happen with anybody else outside those three. I think that's the reality of a lot of teams who have trios like that, who will be high paid trios that at a certain point, security is not necessarily a given for really anybody else on your roster. And the Thunder are maybe the first example that we're really seeing explicitly happen with them.
Yeah, for them, the rich just find ways to maintain their richness. Maybe don't necessarily get richer.
They just
but
stay rich.
Addition by subtraction. Oh man, we might lose Case and Wallace. Let's just make sure we go ahead and get another guard that can come in and do a bunch of things almost immediately on finding their way to our team and just rinse and repeat. While Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, and J-Dub continue to get better. It's real simple. Now, it's nuanced in the ways they're going about hovering above water as far as that goes, but very simple in terms of their process. And I continue to applaud them for being the class of the league on that front for, the last 5 years or so?
So we felt like Hartenstein's future was in jeopardy when Morrow was drafted. The pick is in for OKC. It doesn't look like a trade is coming through, at least I haven't seen anything come through right now. It could happen at any moment, but it looks like it's going to be OKC making this pick. If it is Vesar, then that's going to be fascinating.
Yikes.
I think that was Ryan Conwell.
Ryan Conwell.
Okay, so another
Louisville.
guard. So Vesar's still on the board. I like Ryan Conwell, but I think I still would have taken Vesar there if I'm the Thunder just to have. I think he's the best. I think he's just the best player on the floor at the 37th pick. You don't know what Sorber's future is going to look like. I would have gone with Vesar, but this is another good defensive guard in the system, and maybe maybe this is a sign for you got Sturts, who's a good defender, but he's more known for his offense, even at 6'4". This is a guy that maybe you're bringing in to, might be rude to say, be a little bit of a Case and Wallace replacement. Is just, hey, you're going to be a pesky perimeter guard. You're not going to be nearly as good as Kaysen, but that's just the kind of slot that we need you to fill.
And we've talked about Lou being the odd man out as well. And Alex Caruso is not as young as he once was. You might have 2 or 3 more good years out of him, if that. I mean, we're the same age, so he's 32 now. So I don't know what that means, but that's the other part of it too. Guys aren't going to be young forever, so how do you get those replacements? That's kind of why I think that they might just deal with the blow of having to pay Isaiah Hartenstein for 1 more year and just say, okay, this is it. This is the end of this partnership. We're going to pay that bill one time. We'll try to clean things out elsewhere, and then hopefully one of these guys that we have on the back end are going to be ready once this deal is up.
Oh,
there you go. Oh,
okay, so Conwell goes to Miami for 41.
So now, all right. So now, so that's them starting to assemble a team around
Conwell and Davion Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins and Giannis Antetokounmpo
and Bam Adebayo.
Would you say it's culture building in Miami?
What?
Meanest nasty
for Eric Spoelstra?
Okay, but we just talked about a guard not really figuring in for the Cavs. I know it's a different situation. Do you think Conwell's a guy that could just go out and play? I mean, the Heat want to win a championship. That's why you trade for Giannis. They might need him to play, but do we feel like he's going to be the type of guard that can play immediately for the Miami Heat?
Well, you have a team that's assembled the way theirs is. The roles get a lot more simplified. You see ball on catch, shoot ball. You see guys dribbling in front of you, take that.
Don't think, just play the game.
It really gets so simplified when you have so much top end talent around you, especially 2 guys in Bam and Giannis that are so well versed in the ways in which they can do.
So you're saying Ryan Conwell is their Norris Cole?
In many ways, some are saying.
Shout out Norris Cole.
Shout out Norris Cole, man.
I mean, I like the pick for Miami. I don't know if he does play this year, or he might be like a regular season player. I don't think once you get to the playoffs that he's going to be somebody that's in the rotation. But it's also Miami. Miami always gets guys they're not OKC East, but they have for a long time, especially Spoelstra gone and just gotten guys that play when they shouldn't be playing, and all of a sudden they're hitting a 3 against your favorite team in the playoffs and then putting them away, and you're like, what?
How'd
Gabe
this happen?
Vincent, who?
Right.
Like that's kind of the time that they're
Strus,
on.
ooh, you can go back 10 years, talk about Norris Cole.
I would say I think Drew Smith would have been the same guy had he not had the injuries that he dealt with.
Yes, he definitely would have been that.
They find guys. And it's interesting, too, to speak from in the backyard. The Suns are starting to develop that kind of reputation as well. I think a couple more hits, and we'll be saying the same thing about this team. I mean, we were talking about Jamari the same way this year, where it's like, oh, that's a cool addition, guy to round the roster. Next thing you know, he's scoring double digits in games that helping this team win. And who knows what would have happened had he not missed as much time as he missed with the concussion. So to develop that type of reputation as a franchise, there are only a handful that have earned that privilege of having that reputation. And you earn it over time after hit after hit after hit. It doesn't just happen right away. So it's so always interesting when we're in this draft process and you hear these names and you see the teams that they're linked to, that the respect and the reverence that you give them in those specific certain circumstances and situations. I'm curious too, when we talk about where we are right now at this point in round 2 of the draft, has there been anything, now let me be clear, anybody from 30 to 40 is not tipping the scale anyway.
Sure.
But when you think about some of the teams that have been involved, specifically, I guess Bob Miller's probably been the biggest example of this, of a team that the Suns are going to be competing with this upcoming season. How much does that tip the scale for the Clippers? How much does that worry you? How much does that make you think, okay, they're piling something up here. They're going to be something, a force to be reckoned with?
I mean, Baba's good. I don't think that he makes the Clippers a force to be reckoned with. I just think he's a good young piece to have deep off the bench for them, I think, this upcoming year. His offense has such a long way to go. But if it does come along a little bit, or if he can just be the foil to Brook Lopez, matchup dependent, and Yannick Konan-Niederhauser is more of the innings eater there at their center position, I'd feel the pick is in, by the way, for the Bulls.
Who do you want them to get here, Steven? Just asking you for no particular
reason. For no reason.
And no reason, I don't have an answer for you.
That's fair.
I'm genuinely not sure. I'm imagining it's going to be someone with slap. They continue on with the identity they're working to establish there.
They need a center. I know they've got Claxton, but they need a young center. Well, we got a whoo from Ayrton.
That's a
Braden Smith.
Interesting.
That's not a lot of slap.
Interesting.
Well, not the S part anyway.
Or the L part.
Keep him in the Midwest.
Or the A part.
They get a playmaker to go with all those athletes they have to cover up for his defensive deficiencies. I like that pick.
He's
for
a
the
dog.
Bulls.
He
I
is.
like
He
that
is.
pick
He
for the
is.
Bulls a lot. I'm all for guards that know how to actually play point guard, not just be a guy that I'm smaller, so I have to dribble, and I just have to also initiate. Like, no, I'm pressing buttons. Braden's also someone that can shoot very well too. Now, outside of his 3-point shooting and playmaking, which is wide spanning, like if you're talking about you want someone to get downhill often a lot, like that's not going to be something I imagine he does well on the NBA stage. But for a pick and roll, a heavy league that the NBA is, he comes in and he's just able to run that at an above average clip off rip.
You think we saw with Yuki?
I was going to say, I'm paying to watch him and Yuki's ones. I was about to say that.
Well, maybe they're like, you know what? We can find some success with a small guard. I mean, second round pick, you take somebody who is a really great passer. Again, when you start breaking down second round picks, you look for discernible skill.
One thing, right? Like, what's your league transferable skill? For sure.
Braden Smith is a great passer, and I think he's an NBA ready shooter. He's not the best shooter in the world, but he's a very solid shooter. He's going to be off the ball a little bit more in the NBA, and
he's actually staying in the state of Indiana.
Oh,
okay.
Braden Smith getting traded to the Pacers for Cam Jones, future swaps and cash.
Wow, very interesting.
That is interesting. It doesn't say anything about Halliburton, right?
No,
right?
No, but it says something about T.J. McConnell. Which, I mean, like, he's just getting older.
Way too many white point guards in Indiana.
Pay to see those ones. T.J. McConnell and Braden Smith getting to it in the ones there. But now it's funny because I didn't get a chance to say, like, man, that's got to be the first time a team starting point guard is 6'8", and the backup is like a foot shorter. It's not going to happen now. But I mean, Tyrese Halliburton is 6'5", so I am curious to see like what type of role Braden Smith could have with the Pacers this year, knowing Tyrese Halliburton's going to be back.
It's interesting.
Knowing that they have Nembhard, who can also play on the ball for a little bit as well. And then you have McConnell, and now you add him to the fold too. So I'm curious what their plan is as far as
that's a system fit because he plays point guard, not the exact same way as Tyrese Halliburton, but some of the reads and some of the passes he made at Purdue, very similar to what Tyrese Halliburton did on the playoff stage in particular when Indiana went to the finals last season. So I think there's a hand-to-glove fit in terms of we have a template at the top. If we have somebody that can replicate even 75% of that, that allows for us to keep up a certain style of play. If Hallie isn't able to start the season for whatever reason, then you have to have Braden come in and play a 15 to 20-minute roll off rip. Or if Hallie is good and you just want to ease him back into incrementally increasing his minutes, you have somebody that can hold it down at the point guard spot, even against the learning curve that inevitably comes as a rookie playing on the NBA stage.
Can we take a moment for this?
Yeah,
Dude, the Knicks.
Look at the Knicks, man.
They're trying to save
They
money,
traded down
dude.
4 times already.
Keith Smith, who's going to be on the show later this week, does amazing work over at Spot Track, says Braden Smith is basically a better shooting, worse defending TJ McConnell. So it makes perfect sense he lands with Indiana. So this is a backup point guard. This is not somebody that I think you're going to look at as a starter in the NBA just with the size concerns. Now, maybe he proves me wrong. I just don't see the defensive level. You look at small guards that have really thrived in the NBA, and obviously he's not Chris Paul, but Chris Paul was an incredible defender, one of the best at his position. You need to be a plus defender at that size with great instincts. And he's smart, but he just doesn't have, I think, the athleticism to be a plus defender in the NBA. But he's smart. He's a good passer. He's a good shooter. He'll be a fun, calm down the game, backup point guard, and really good point guard play if Halliburton is healthy in Indiana, and that's going to be good for them.
That's the thing I was thinking about too as we were talking through their point guard rotation and what it could mean for Tyrese Halliburton. Easing him back in and not making him feel like, hey, you haven't played basketball in over a year. Go back to playing 35 minutes a night. So they don't have to do that. Or if it's, you don't have to go play every single night, being able to manage his workload as far as that goes. And now the Knicks are finally making it.
Yeah, we'll see. They're probably going to trade this
traded somewhere else.
Do you know they have the draft rights to like
15 guys, I think.
15 or 16 international players?
Jack.
And they take your guy, Steven, your guard.
Yeah, Jack Cahill, here we go. I think he fits for what the Rockets are looking for from the guard position in particular. Is a little bit bigger than Reed Shepherd is, can do a little bit more off the dribble than Reed Shepherd, or for the Knicks, excuse me. I like what he's bringing to the league level just in general, though. I think independent of what team he's going to, I like them taking that flyer on him. He makes sense. I'm very curious about how well those skills translate to the league level, though, because I think that's probably where, just for my personal assessment of guys, you look at international talent, and you look at whatever leagues they might be playing in, and you try to see, okay, what could work on the league level? It's hard to kind of be able to bridge that gap without actually seeing it. But I feel like this guy has it just because of the level of play that he was up against in the German leagues and what he's been doing in FIBA over the last couple of years as well.
The Celtics are going to get Vesar, aren't they?
Yikes.
And then all the trade stuff is.
But is he?
That's probably a trade with Miami. Yeah.
Do you think he's ready to play?
I think so.
Like right away?
I think so. Yeah, I think he is. I don't think he's ready to be like your
not a starter,
top 3
not a
best
starter.
player.
No.
But play right away. Yeah, he's been in college for a long time. He's got an NBA ready frame. He's a smart player. He's got a lot of discernible skills as a center. He's not afraid to go down low, grab rebounds, finish around the paint, but also can spread it out to the 3-point line as well. Again, I had a first-round grade on him, and a lot of guys that I look at in the first round, especially guys that have been in school for as long as Vesar has been in school, I look at you as somebody who can come in and be a rotation player right away.
Is he 5 years?
I think so. He's 4 or 5. He is a little bit on the older side.
I just know I remember hearing
Kevin and David he started college in 2022.
So 4-year player.
Yeah. Okay. 4 years? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why he has fallen so far. I don't get it. 17 points per game, almost 9 rebounds per game, over 2 assists per game, can move the ball a little bit as well, over a block per game, shot 60% from the field, shot 42.6% from deep on 3 attempts per game.
This would be interesting because I know the Lakers were very interested in Vesar.
Jalen Brown and Vesar for.
I don't know how realistic it is that will happen.
No, I'm kidding.
But this would be some good trolling for 2 of the dinosaurs of the NBA.
If I'm anybody, I'm looking to move up and take Vesar here.
For sure.
I mean, you have a guy who's a true 7-footer with a 7'2" wingspan, and he's a good weight along with that. Like, he's not going to get bullied down low, who I think has legitimate shooting skills. If I'm anybody who is in slight need of a center, even at this point, I don't even know if you're in slight need of the center if you don't take Vesar here. I think you just trade up to get Vesar.
See, is this the one?
I feel like it's gotta be, especially because they need a
No.
Dillon
Mitchell.
What is going on with Vesar?
Interesting.
I like Dillon Mitchell.
This is very Celtics.
Yeah, I thought Vesar kind of would be though too.
No, it's true.
Vesar can play Missoula ball.
But to that point, maybe that this does indicate that they have something in the works. You know,
So
going on.
who would that be then, right? So
I mean, it would be
OKC is next. They're the one that traded with Miami. So OKC is on the clock next. Then San Antonio, who drafted 2 forward centers in the first round.
It gets to the point where if you go past 40, 45, I don't know if you're going to get drafted.
That's true.
And
Brooklyn then drafts, but I mean, again, I would take him. I don't want him to end up in Brooklyn. San Antonio has picks 42 and 44. So that's fascinating. And then Sacramento at 45.
It's interesting.
I don't get it. I get, like, okay, they fall, and eventually if you're a second round pick and you haven't been drafted yet, I think we're officially on Jaden Bradley watch.
True.
As well right now. But it's different when the guy has, in a lot of people's opinions, a first round grade. Now, clearly NBA scouts are seeing something differently. So he doesn't have a first round grade.
It could be something, but it could be something medical. It could be something in the workouts. It could be, you know.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think there was any, and I could be missing. I don't think there was anything medical report wise with him. I don't get this. And I'm definitely not letting him fall out of the second round if I'm a team here in the 40s and the 50s. If you don't have a first round grade on him, that's one thing. He's at least a top 40 player in this year's draft. That I think is as low as I could even possibly imagine.
So going back and looking at the file, like I'm looking at his medical records, but no, he redshirted his sophomore year at Arizona with an elbow injury.
Okay.
But again, that was 3 years ago at this point. Then he played that 1 year at Arizona, then played this past year at UNC, which in theory he could have come back for another year.
He was a junior.
He had his junior on the court, so he had 1 year left to play. And I don't really remember anything happening this year. He played 31 games at Carolina, and they played 33 games, so only missed 2 games this past season.
There was no injury concerns with him.
That we know of. And now I know that it's happened in the past where there have been guys who like training staffs and people see stuff that we have no idea about. It happened with Perry Jones a long time ago, but I remember, but so it could happen, but I don't know.
Sure.
He was UNC's second best player.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. I believe,
especially with Caleb going down.
Well, and he's like,
I'm about to say Seth Trimble might have something to say about that.
At worst, he's their third best player, but he was their second leading rebounder, or the leading rebounder, I think, behind or right in front of Caleb Wilson. Like, how do you let Vesar fall here? So this pick will be going to OKC.
Otega made a huge shot in the tournament. Massive shot in the tournament.
Interesting pick for OKC.
Another guard for OKC. So they've got Ade Mara, which I feel like if they didn't get Mara, they would have probably gotten Vesar there.
I mean, if we're really looking at what they've developed over the last handful of years, it's been guard heavy. So you got AJ Mitchell, you got Cason Wallace. Obviously, Shea got significantly better under them. He's the crown jewel of all of the names. You do have a couple of positions that are out. Well, I guess 3. If you're looking at J-Dub, you're looking at Chet, and then you're looking at J. Will. Those are 3 names that aren't guards. But the other players, the crop of the players that have developed under them, that have gotten the most attention have been the guards in particular. So this continues on with that trend. I mean, they've doubled down in the second round alone on that front.
That did cross the line. Hello.
Oh, yeah. Hello says nice Duke blue.
Yeah, hello. First of all, get it right. This is Nipsey blue. Don't get it twisted. 2 very different sides of the spectrum.
I wouldn't be sitting next to him if that's what that was.
But Spike brought up a question a little bit earlier in the chat about if players could be pushing to just not be drafted, just so that they can pick and choose what team they want to go to. That's something we talked about a little bit earlier. There are some very there's some very intricate kind of business happening on the side of agents, looking out for their players and telling teams, "Hey, no disrespect, we would rather just go ahead and go undrafted. That way, we have free reign over picking and choosing our location where we want to go."
Isaiah Stewart just
Beef
got
stew.
Beef stew, boom.
Shams bomb.
Beef stew trade. Okay,
Whoa,
That is grit and that is grind.
very interesting.
So that's clearing up money to pay Duran, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine
so. Isaiah Stewart's like $15 million a year
Yeah,
and 3 second-round
or
picks.
Tyler Hero.
yeah, it could be Hero too because they were very close to getting Mr. Austin Reeves, per Brian Windhurst earlier today. Obviously, they struck out on that part.
They didn't
but
play the
instead,
country music for him.
that was Eric Ruby, not Stephen Prejean Gardner. But what I will say is, Brian Windhurst said they're going to check off that box of one of these guards to go next to Cade Cunningham. If it is Tyler Hero, to your point, Gil, this is good business right here. Shifting around things a little bit to make things make more sense for your roster balance-wise. Now, this is calling up Jalen Duran if this is what they're intentionally doing, but yeah, I like it for them if that's the plan.
It's interesting. The first thing that comes to mind is when he got ejected back in Charlotte, and they had the video of him leaving, saying, "Well, when I get drafted to Detroit for it to play basketball, not to fight." But he had quite a run.
Embrace
the
bad boy part of the
he
culture.
did, but he goes to another place that he can continue to be a rugged player
Facts.
and bring some attitude to Memphis.
Facts.
They've already drafted Kareem Lopez. They already brought in Cam Boozer. I almost said Carlos Boozer. they don't want Carlos Boozer at this point in time. They brought in Cam Boozer. So
That's great insurance to Eric's point yesterday in case Edie is on the court.
Yes. So they're fortifying the front court that they have there. And I know Wendy earlier said that we've probably seen the last of Ja Morant in a Grizzlies uniform, which is very fascinating to think about where this factors in with all of what's going on with what Memphis has, because they've got some things that they're going to be doing. For some teams like the Suns, it feels like the offseason's over. But for teams like the Grizzlies, it feels like it's just beginning. So this is an interesting pickup for them. And the bigger question that I ask when I think about it with the Grizzlies in mind, but also the Suns in mind, what are they trying to do this year? Are they trying to be a 25, 35, 45 win team this upcoming year? Because it really could be any type of outcome based on what they are doing and what they've done so far. I don't think that they have it all right now, but they could move and shuffle the pieces a certain way to where they could be somewhere.
And they can't go about it the way they did last year.
No.
Yes,
Don't
we
do
know
that
that part for sure.
I have a question for you guys.
Depends on what you're asking.
It's basketball related. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's cool then.
Obviously, the Suns are unlikely to trade into the second round for a variety of reasons. But with a guy like Vesar falling, does that make you reevaluate what you might want to do in order to possibly trade into the second round? Because trading in the second round for a two-way contract is one thing. I think Vesar could play minutes. Legit. And I do think that he could play alongside Oso. And a big that can shoot is a good insurance policy for Kaman. At what point do you think to yourself, man, we just got to cut Jamari Bouye and open up a roster spot because this kid's too talented to just kind of let fall? Because according to reports, he's not going to go here to the San Antonio Spurs. Per Mike Scotto, it's going to be Jacoby Gillespie. So another Gillespie in the Western Conference with the pick being in.
Gillespie's in the Western Conference.
So at what point, if you're the Suns, do you look at yourself and you just say, F it, we got to make a trade for a guy that I think is a first round.
So I'm curious what they. Oh, wait a second. Oh no, sorry, that was the bottom line. Ticker threw me off. But I was gonna say, at what point do you like? I'm curious where the Suns stand on him. It makes a lot of sense, but we heard yesterday that they were really high on Koa Peat. They went and got him. I'm curious if there is some situation, and also knowing that there is obviously a relationship between the Suns and U of A. Do they know what's going on with Vesar? I know he left and he spent this past season in Chapel Hill, but the 3 years before that, he was around here. So what do they know? What might they have? What kind of understanding might they have with him and all of the good and the bad with him? But I would say after around the place that you were supposed to pick, around 45, 46, 47, if you still see him out there and you feel a way about him, then maybe you pay to get back in there. But otherwise, maybe you try to hold it out, and maybe there is something going on with him as an undrafted free agent.
I think there's always a little bit of understanding of just KYP, of what teams are trying to do, what types of players or teams might be either interested in or just outright are going to take. I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship on that front. And I mean, if he continues to drop, why waste money on a player that you can just get essentially under your own will if he just goes undrafted? We're already almost halfway through the second round at this point. So if he just continues to fall and you're sure that he's going to be available for you on the other side of the draft concluding, why not go and just invite him to your summer league team, get an internal look at him under your team control, and then make a decision on him going forward off of that?
I think if I'm Vesar's team, I'm probably wanting him to go to a place that doesn't have a center like Malawach, right? So maybe he wouldn't choose your team and you want to get him in the building. I'm trying to figure out if Vesar's clutch. I don't think he is. So that's kind of
probably not.
That's the main thing that I'm trying to find right now. Because, look, and it is not just me that is really high on Vesar.
Wasserman guy?
Is he a Wasserman guy?
That's what it looks like.
So it's not just me that's high on Vesar. It is a lot of draft experts or people who follow this thing closely had Vesar as a end of first round, beginning a second round talent. On a complete different sidebar, Jeff says we need a Gregory t-shirt. We do kind of have one. We have an aligned t-shirt, which is for sale right now at our PHNX locker. You can go get that aligned shirt. Of course, the term that Mr. Brian Gregory himself has made famous. Exactly. Very well said. Go PHNX.com, hit that locker button, go get your aligned shirt today. Or use the Brian Gregory emoji that we have for our members.
I'm cool letting BG have it, but the word was used a lot on the 2025 or 2024-25 PHNX Suns podcast. Go back and watch the tape. That was used in a complete different light or with a complete different dim on it, if you will, because there wasn't a light on that word being used that season. It was used a lot by a particular individual, but Mr. Gregory's earned the right to own that. So it's a lob off the backboard. He just ran away with it.
What was it at the exit interview? I'm just gonna say it. We're aligned. I was like,
with a smile.
This guy knows. This guy knows.
How do we feel about Jacoby Gillespie in San Antonio? Another small, I guess not another small guard, but a small guard is definitely a great scorer. Not much of a distributor or a defender as Brooklyn's coming up to make a pick. I don't know if I love that pick for San Antonio.
Yeah, you got shout out these Nets fans being passionate about the 43rd pick.
I was gonna say, imagine being a Nets fan.
They don't have enough draft picks.
But respect to them.
Tyler
Villadell?
Wow.
Interesting.
Guys, what is going on?
Led the Big Ten in 46.4 from three.
I mean, yeah, he could shoot. He could shoot it for sure.
So this is the thing that they're calling him a stretch big, but what they just show with 6'6" and
he's 6'7".
He's 6'. I don't know if that's a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a forward.
That's a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
that's as tall as Sam Hauser.
That's Jason Capono.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Jason Capono. It's crazy.
I went jersey bias there, but that's Jason Capono.
Okay, so one of the draft guides that I'm looking at here has him at 6'8.5". I don't think he's 6'8".
He definitely just looked bigger in the clips they showed
Yeah.
relative to the people on the court with them on the other team.
7 foot wingspan though, senior average almost 18 points per game. Yeah, an absurd 46.4% from three. Now, not the highest volume of guys, 4.5, so like a decent volume, but he wasn't.
Somebody's lying. UCLA had him listed as 6'9" on their roster last year too. So we done seen 6'6" and 3/4, 6'8" and 6'9". How tall are you, brother?
Only in the NBA you gotta guess somebody's height this many times.
So he's not a great defender. Some of the pro comps that he gets are Ryan Anderson or Nikola Mirotic.
Shout out Rhino.
Yeah, shout out Ryan. If he is Ryan Anderson, I mean that's great. But
shout out Rhino. Rhino
he's a dude. He's
ahead of his time.
Good right now.
This guy shot 71% from the left corner on 14 attempts throughout the season. He was 10 of 14 from the left corner, 7 of 12 from the right corner, 54. He loves the left side. 54.2% from the left wing, 13 and 24.
Sound like Tyus Jones with the Suns.
41%, yeah. 16 of 39 from the right wing, and then 37% on above the break three, 17 of 46. This guy does not take really any other shots though.
Why would you?
Well, I mean, he gets to the paint because he's big, but like he's gonna be a 3-point shooter. He's a decent rebounder.
From what I remember seeing of his game, and again, I'm not someone that's arduously watching college basketball, but because of his 3-point prowess, guys want to run him off the line. He can put the ball on the deck a little
He
bit.
can score a little bit.
Especially against smaller guys and kind of protect it, keep him on his hip, and then get to a spot. So I think that translates well off of his shooting, but clearly the shooting, to your point, is the league-ready skill.
Yeah, if he's not able to athletically, get by guys in the NBA or take advantage of guys, like he did rely when he was in the paint on his size, and that size is not going to be as reliable against NBA level size. But I think he's fine at the 43rd pick. I just don't get it with Vesar still available.
I also just don't get it in Brooklyn. I don't understand.
Are y'all going to be playing him and Danny Wolf?
Who cares? Just hoop.
I guess.
I mean, he's just the Michael Porter Jr.
The funny thing is, their summer league team is basically going to be their regular team with minus Julius Randle. And
this is their third draft pick. Oh no, because they traded the one earlier to Minnesota. So their second draft pick. So they've had 7 draft picks over the last 2 drafts.
And they had 3 in the first round last year.
Didn't they have? No, they had 5 in the first round last year, didn't they?
Was it 5?
And then did they have any second round draft picks last year?
No,
it was just first round. They had 5. They had Serif, Yegor Dioman, or Igor Denov. Danny Wolf,
they had
Noah Traore,
and Powell
and Drake Powell, from UNC.
Mm-hmm.
That was a second round pick, right? No,
he was first.
He
They
was
had all first round.
Dude.
Yeah, they had 3 lottery, and then they had 2 in the back.
I think I gave them like a D for their.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad draft.
How do you get that when you have 5?
And I liked Dioman.
First round, bro.
I think Dioman's gonna be fine.
I think Danny Wolf is fun, but like
he's fascinatingly mid. Like he's okay. He's got some fun tools, but like
he does.
Let's just be real here.
But yeah, it's just like how do you, like. I think the thing about that, and this goes, and that we're making it about last year, but about this year too. You got to get at least one high floor guy. They got all these like kind of undefined ceiling guys with, I like Dioman, but all the other guys are kind of like, I don't know. So that goes back to this year with Michael Brown, which I like what they're doing as far as that goes.
I love the Michael pick.
Great pick. Automatically the best blue chip prospect they have on their roster now as far as building around for the future. But again, I just need some semblance of an identity or an idea of what type of identity you're trying to go with when you are making this many picks for a franchise that's trying to get back in good graces moving forward.
San Antonio back here picking again. There might be a trade. These trades have been coming through. Honestly, I just say F it and get Vesar here and say, you know what? We'll get a big that can shoot, and then Terrace Reed and Quaintance, who, by the way, Quaintance might be out his entire rookie year. He has to get another surgery on his knee, which does, I think, sour that pick a little bit for me. I am very high on Quaintance, but another knee surgery is concerning.
Reunite Vesar and Carter Bryant?
Yeah, Vesar and Carter Bryant. And then also with Vesar, completely different type of archetype than Terrace Reed or Quaintance if they play. So could also play alongside Wemby as another shooting big. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that a lot for them, honestly.
It is very intriguing to think about how the Spurs are going to continue to build. Their backcourt is set. They have Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, and they're set through 2037 with those 2 guys. But how are you going to continue to build? Is Carter Bryant going to hit to become eventually your starter at the 3? And then, how much longer? I mean, you have Vassell as well, but then there's some questions. I think some people think that Keldon Johnson might be better suited elsewhere. And what are you going to do to fill out?
6th man of the year, Keldon Johnson.
6th man, 8 gold medalist, Keldon Johnson. Let me put some respect on it.
Yes.
The Spurs are going to go with?
Not Henry Vesar. They're taking Malik Brown out of Duke.
Oh, that's a guy that locks up.
Yeah,
a guy that he guards, man.
If you are on any sort of draft board and you average 5 points and 5 rebounds per game,
it's like
you play defense.
It's like what Sion James did last year, but just way more size. Like he's taller. Sion James is like, kind of the PJ Tucker built guy. This is long, rangy. He played through a lot of injury this year, and he's a guy who was kind of connective tissue for Duke this past year. And when he missed time, they were curious of what they were going to do without him because of the way he connects a lot of things. That's a very Spursian pick if he stays there. It makes a lot of sense for them. And that those lineups, once he figures it out with him on the court with Wemby and some of the other guys they have to get after it defensively, good luck scoring.
If him and Quaintance are on the floor together, holy.
Man.
With Wemby,
Go ahead.
Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6'9" with an over 7-foot wingspan. He's a senior. He's 22 years old, so he should be a little bit more ready just to eat up some rotational minutes defensively for them. They need wings too, right? I mean, Carter Bryant is somebody that I think they're high on. Keldon Johnson was somebody that is definitely a wing, but they started 4 guards, right? Now, I don't think that Malik Brown's going to start for them, but he is a completely different type of player than really anybody that they have on their roster. So he could play a little bit of 3, a little 4, maybe a little small ball 5 with that wingspan there at almost 6'10" and a 7-foot plus wingspan. So he's got it. He just can't shoot. He can't shoot. He can't score. He can't really pass. And he's not going to have to.
They say you get to the league level, especially a team already set for the most part. All you got to do is play to your top tier skills. That makes your job a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're drafting this point, you just go for skills. But oh my God, man. I don't know how many times I could say that. I don't understand why Vesar. I mean, I guess he just wants to pick where he wants to go. If he doesn't get drafted here by Orlando at 46 or Sacramento right now at 45, I don't know. I don't get it. Completely don't get it at all. This is shocking.
I can tell. You're shocked.
I am shocked.
You're shocked.
And it's not just me. It's not just me.
The basketball world is shocked in addition to you.
Yeah, you have to imagine there's some sort of medical issue, right? Right?
Are the Kings going to do it?
Probably not. That would be a good move. So, of course, they wouldn't do that.
Sound like we're announcing a trade first.
Yeah. Announcing trade 10 minutes later.
Of course.
I mean, if you're a team like the Jazz, and you just want to say, screw you, Walker Kessler.
Emmanuel Sharp, another Cougar.
It's a good pick, though.
I like him.
That's a good pick. He's a good guard. If you're like the Jazz, though,
oof, cookies.
If you're the Jazz, do you just say screw it and let's go get Vesar?
Let's run a lineup of all 7 footers.
Well, and let's just give the middle finger to Walker Kessler.
I mean,
they clearly don't want to pay him.
No, they just don't want to pay him what he's asking for.
So they don't want to pay him.
No, that's not that they don't want.
He asked for 140, right?
Yes, he asked for as much as you could ask for in his position, and I'm not mad at him for that. And I'm also not mad at the Jazz for saying, "Hey, big dog, we like you a lot." To a certain extent, though.
Yeah, I was thinking about. I mean, I'm curious what they're going to do, what that means as far as like with him and the bigger picture and Vesar and all of that as well. But now we got 15 picks left. Like I don't know. It's interesting.
It feels like we're getting to the point where if the Suns are going to do anything tonight, sitting here going into pick 46 against Orlando or for Orlando, this feels like the spot for the Suns to make a move. So far, nothing from them. It feels like they're not going to do anything. I'm 10 times more fascinated with Vesar, but when you look at the Suns, and if we look back and we say this is it, they don't trade back into the second round, they don't grab a guy on a two-way here from 46 to 60, do you feel like it was a successful draft for the Suns?
Yes. You got who you wanted. You paid the price, and you are really, really, really leaning in on continuity with some tweaks in the middle as far as that goes. So I would consider that to be successful as far as like the point and the objective of the NBA draft, especially knowing that we're coming up on what would have been the Suns pick at 47. So we'll see what kind of value is around. I mean, you could have maybe gotten Vesar or Jaden Bradley at 47 at this point, but that doesn't mean you can't get back in there. So that'll be an interesting thing to see how that plays out.
It's a success either way for me. You going and got the guy that was at the top of your board or near the top of your board at the last possible second at the end of the first round. You walk away with your head high, your shoulders back, and confident about the direction you're going into the summer league and using that for as much as you can to expedite these guys ahead of training camp.
The pick is in for the Orlando Magic. We'll let you know what they take, but we've also had a lot of questions in the chat, guys, about Koa specifically and pro comps. We've seen comps to Aaron Gordon. Some people have comped him. I believe last night Kenny Smith comped him to Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson was
which is kind of insane. How do you feel about just pro comps? I don't know. How do you, but like he's the 30th pick, right? And maybe there are shades of it, but how do you feel
would
about?
You rather I say Anthony Bennett?
I mean, I'd rather you never speak again than say Anthony Bennett. What would your guys' pro comp be for Koa?
If I'm looking at him maybe 2-3 years from now, I think if he's striking a similar court to someone like Tobias Harris, late stages of his career, but with more athleticism, or Rui Hachimura, where he's figuring out the three ball and being able to just get up the shots and knock them down to a certain extent, and then building off of that foundation, I think I can see him striking a similar court to those guys. Those guys can both knock down the three, obviously, but they can be very physical inside the three-point line and navigating to their spots and knocking down shots in that specific type of capacity that we saw Koa do somewhat well on a collegiate level. So I can see him being one of those guys, but I also think he strikes a bit of an accord of Jay Crowder with the Phoenix Suns as well. It's just being a blue-collar guy that's able to do a bunch of Swiss Army knife type things while also knocking down shots. So there's a common denominator with those guys, and it's figuring out the three-point shooting over the course of their careers. If he can get to that point, I think he can be a little bit of a hybrid of those type of guys.
A name we saw in the chat, and we also saw in the guys that with no ceilings made this comparison, Corliss Williamson, who that feels like a lower end floor type of guy, but this is a guy who won a national championship at Arkansas and had a 12-year NBA career, nicknamed Big Nasty, of course. And at his peak in the league, it was what? Average, actually more than I remembered. I was 4 years old, so that's probably why I don't remember it, but 18 points and 6 boards per game in his fourth season or third season in the league with the Kings. So Corliss Williamson for his career averaged 11 points, 4 boards per game, 6'7", 245. So you think about the measurables being pretty similar as far as that goes. And I think that is a lower end if the skill development does not hit the way that it could hit, because you think back to what he was able to do and the era that he played in and what his limitations were. I think we're a product of that era. So I think that is a floor, which isn't a bad floor to have. It's just kind of hard to envision in the modern day game.
Yeah, and we'll have somebody special to give a comp for Koa Peat here in a second, but for me, I know we talked to Ben Pfeiffer and he said a Thaddeus Young type for him. I think what really stands out for Koa is his feel for the game and his playmaking. I think he has a much more refined offensive game just in general than what people talk about with Koa Peat. I know he doesn't have the jumper, which is why I'm a little hesitant with some of your comparisons, Steven.
Those guys didn't have it when they came.
Rui for sure was a lot more raw on the offensive end than people remember him being, and he was the 9th pick in the draft. I just think there's a difference between being raw, and it feels like there is something fundamentally broken with his jumper, which is why it's trying to be fixed. Now that doesn't mean it A, can't be fixed, or B, he cannot be a solid NBA player without having a dead-eye jumper. But that is something that for me, I do worry with a little bit with some of the comps, but even if he is, let's say, a Thaddeus Young type, which isn't a perfect one-to-one comparison, Thad Young was a great rotational piece.
His playmaking, his defending.
The Koa's playmaking is phenomenal. Started for
Indiana.
A couple of teams.
Had the hashtag graphic.
For sure.
He would guard the best forward on the team and take on that matchup and would just do all the dirty work. If Koa ever ends up being that type of guy, which I think his ceiling is higher than that, at the 30th pick, that's a massive steal. But that's what we think. I think it'd be really great to get the opinion of somebody who watched Koa Peat up close and personal. Our friend, everyone's friend, former host on PHNX Suns, still does work with PHNX Wildcats, and is everybody's boss. Let's talk to Saul Bookman here. Saul, what's up, man?
That was quite the intro there, Eric. I appreciate that.
How are you feeling now that we're 24 hours after the Koa Peat to the Suns decision?
I'm excited for Koa. Personally, I know between him and Braden, especially him, like he had such a high bar to meet. 4-time state champion. He's got all the gold medals as well, and he definitely was supposed to be a one and done. And I don't think the season went the way he thought it would, and he wasn't as dominant as maybe he hoped he would be. and he started to fall down the draft boards. But I think the nitpicking to a certain degree, especially when it comes to his shot, let's just talk there.
Mm-hmm.
The shot is a problem, but it's only a problem when you get outside of the mid-range, that inside the elbow kind of mid-range area. If you're talking about the three-point line, yes, 100% a problem. If you're talking about extending it, maybe baseline, in between the three-point line and the key, then yeah, probably a little bit of a problem. But inside the paint, not too much of a problem. He's a very effective player inside the paint, even with a jump shot. Now he's working through the technique of that, which, guys, I for the life of me, I don't understand why some of these things weren't fixed beforehand. And like he was holding the ball in funky positions for a while now in high school and in college. And one of the things towards the end of the season that I did notice was he had a very pronounced hitch on his free throw shot. And then all of a sudden, maybe about 3 or 4 games left to go in the season, after he came back from his injury, that hitch was pretty much gone. And I thought, okay, somebody's working with him, because his free throw looked a lot smoother. He also put the ball deeper into the pocket of his hand, and I think he rested it a little bit more on his wrist or on the base of his palm, which I felt like was a sign to me that he felt like he wasn't having control of the ball. So that was one sign that he felt like if he put that ball a little bit more on the palm, he could have a little bit more influence on the rotation. Now, shooters would tell you need to have a little bit of a window in between your palm and the ball, but he opted to do that, and his free throw shooting did improve towards down the stretch. So shooting wise, obviously there's a big mountain to climb. Outside of that, though, and this is where I feel like everybody's kind of missing the mark a little bit on this, he should have come back to school. I'm not gonna say he shouldn't have, but he's got all the tools to be able to be a very successful player in the NBA. He's a great all-around player. He got caught sleeping a little bit and got a little lax on defense from time to time. But I think in the NBA, especially early on, he's not going to have the luxury to take plays off or to any degree. He might get 10 to 15 minutes on a good night, and he's got to do the most of that 10 to 15 minutes. So I don't feel like that's going to be as prevalent. Also, physically, and this is the thing that kills me about people. Oh my gosh, 6'7", 6'7", he can't be a power forward. Well, then tell Charles Barkley, for crying out loud, because his wingspan is crazy. The broad shoulders and the size of this 19-year-old kid is not like most 6'7" players. He's just built different. So I think from a physicality standpoint and a really a girth standpoint, he's going to be plenty fine playing a power forward position in the NBA. And once he starts to really feel his game, I think he's going to give guys problems, because he's got a lot of talent.
Saul, I appreciate you breaking down the intricacies of his growth and development this past season, and also being very upfront about thinking he should have gone back for another year, because a lot of people are saying if he did go back and improved on what he needed to improve on, he would have been a lottery pick this time next year. What I'm asking you, do you believe that he would have been a lottery pick this time next year? And do you think he can put forth that same type of development to where it feels like the Suns are getting a lottery talent this time next year? They're just adding that. They already had it on the roster.
Yes, I think the potential is there. I do think that his growth is gonna be heavily weighted on whether or not he's going to be able to shoot from the outside. If you look at the Suns right now, you've already got 2 guys that are kind of problematic from the perimeter anyway, in Oso Ighodaro and Ryan Dunn. So to add a third piece to that, it's like, okay, well, what are we doing with all these pieces? Now, the thing, everybody's like, oh, he's just like Oso. No, he's not, okay? Because he's not throwing one-handed floaters from the top of the key, okay? Like, Oso's got no jumper, straight up, no jumper, like not even a semblance of a jumper. At least Koa has that in the mid-range and in, right? Like, you can rely on that to a degree. But, I do think that development will really kind of predict whether or not we think that he's going to be he would have been a lottery pick. Because even if he wouldn't have gone back to school, what kind of coaching is he getting? What kind of development is he getting to work on that jump shot? And I will say this, my only hesitancy in saying that he should have 100% going back to college is they just had a year with him down at the University of Arizona, and that shot didn't get much better. Like, so what are we really doing here? And I know he's working with a shooting coach. I'll keep my comments and my thoughts to myself in regards to that, because I don't know if he's really on the right track there. But the organization and the coaching staff, I do think, will put him in a much better position to develop that jump shot. And it helps when you have a guy that's on the roster that's probably one of the greatest shooters of all time. He's probably he is the franchise's leading scorer. Like, that guy could probably give you a few tips on what you should probably modify.
For sure. Saul, I wanted to ask you, because you watched so much of Koa in his collegiate career, albeit brief. What do you feel like maybe he learned or you learned most about him through everything that was that season, that pretty much U of A was the best team start to finish until the last game, and then came up short in the national championship game?
Man, you almost have to separate the season into kind of three versions. The first part of the season, when he started off against Florida, I sat there and I was just like, oh, damn. All right. Like, we're just going to drop 30 on the defending national champions. They had a tall front line too. And I think people conveniently ignore that when they see the performance that he had against Michigan and what he did against Michigan and that tall front line. They were like, oh, well, all they had to do was just force Koa to shoot. Well, if you look at that Florida tape, that's a perfect example of what Koa could have done against Michigan, but for whatever reason, the whole team just looked really, really off. It wasn't just Koa, because he was dropping mid range. He was hitting. He was going to the basket, right and left handed. He was being a force. And one thing about Koa Peat, if he plays passively, you might as well not even put him out there, because you'll forget he's even out there. The games that he's been focused on really being assertive to the rim are the games where I feel like he's had the biggest impact. If he doesn't back down, he doesn't shy away, he doesn't just play the team game and, the dribble handoff series and go to the pick and roll with through the motions, then he's going to be an elite player. But if he goes through the motions and he kind of just defers, if he defers too much, then you might as well put anybody else out there, because that's not his game. He's got to be an assertive player. So I think his development, the first portion of the season, he got injured. He came back. It took a little bit of time for him to come back. And then, once we got to the tournament, I did feel like he showed signs of being that elite player that you need. And listen, I think he and that team really grew together, and they understood the roles, and none of them, and I will say this until the cows come home, none of them were selfish players. Not a single person on that U of A roster was a selfish player. They didn't care who got the next shot, as long as it was the best shot. So in that regard, Koa had to be very selective about when to pick and choose his spots within the flow of that offense, because it was very specific. When you get to the NBA, hey man, you get that ISO, you got to cook right away, because that's the mismatch. You can't wait to see what's going to happen, because there's only so much time on the shot clock. So I think that's going to play to Koa's benefit, where he doesn't have to defer, because there might be 10 seconds on the shot clock and you have the matchup. We've been talking about this leading up to this game. You got to attack, go, and that'll get beaten to his head right away. You can't be passive. If you've ever watched Koa Peat, one of the things, even in high school, the second quarter, he's just kind of letting everybody else cook, kind of letting the game come to him. Good coaches will always say, hey, don't force it, let the game come to you. And when you pick and choose your spots, then you get into your rhythm, and then all of a sudden you're feeling yourself, and in the second half you usually play better. That's what Koa kind of did. That was kind of the model of what he kind of approached every game with. At the U of A, there were certain circumstances where they kind of needed him to kind of break out of that a little bit, because the mismatches were there in that first half. Some games he did, some games he didn't. But even in the Florida game, he didn't really start going off until we got to that second half, and then he kind of felt what Florida was trying to do, and then it was gangbusters from there. So I like there's the good and bad. Florida, Michigan, if you want to look at both those tapes, because they have similarities on their front court, you can take a look at the peak of what Koa Peat can do, and the bottom of what Koa Peat can do.
So we've got some OGs in the chat here, obviously loving it. We have Leo in here. We'll get to a super chat in a second. Hello would like us to say hello to you as well.
Love it.
But this super chat, I'm excited to read from Leo, because I've been waiting to say this for a long time. He says the Suns should sign Saul's boy, NBA champion, Landry Shamet. How would you feel about that?
No.
Did your opinion change at all? Change at all about Landry Shamet?
No.
He was a rotation piece on a championship team.
Good for him. It took him freaking forever to figure it out. He finally got it all together this year. Good for him. He got into the right spot with the right team. The vibes were high. He was shooting the ball well. He played his ass off in the playoffs this year. I'm not taking that away from him. But that was not the Landry Shamet that was here, guys. We know this. This was like Landry Shamet had one good game in the Suns uniform. Actually, I take that back. 2, because he almost dropped like, I think 32 was the mark that he had to hit for me to shave my head, and he had 30 in one game. And that was for the – I put that bet out for the entire season. That's – one game was as close as he got, okay? So I don't want to hear about, Saul's probably regretting Landry Shamet comment. No, that dude was ass when he was here, and I'm happy for the fact that he's successful now. I'm not trying to disrespect the guy, but he wasn't good as a Sun. Like, anybody that wants to tell me that he was, dude, you're smoking something that I don't have access to. I promise.
Speaking of smoking something, Ashley, who's been a member for 7 months, says, still waiting on your trip down under for some barbecue, Saul.
Oh, well, depend. Yeah. I won't answer for Saul, but I want to what Ashley's barbecuing down there.
That's a good point.
You think you could grill up some roux?
I mean, Ashley actually throws down on the grill. Shout out to the Aussie Suns crew. So,
last Koa question for you from me, specifically, Saul. Koa the type of kid that could thrive with a chip on his shoulder?
Yes, 100%.
Why?
Some of the things that I saw, behind the scenes during the tournament run, even playing 2K. The fact that somebody, I don't know what happened when I walked into the locker room, but he said something and then he realized the media was coming around. So he kind of zipped it up. He went to the PC mode. But right before that, he was like, I told you not to test me on this game. So he must have beat the brakes off of somebody behind the scenes. The passion that Koa Peat plays with, he plays with his heart out there. I will say that. He does care a tremendous bit. I would be shocked if he didn't look at all the naysayers out there that said he should have gone back to school. And listen, and if you want to use billboard material, fine, use it. Like, I thought he should have gone back to school. I thought it was better for his development because I could give a damn about what you're doing now. I care about the long-term growth of an individual. And I think the long-term growth for Koa Peat would have been better served to go back to college for another year and become a lottery pick, because we all know lottery picks get a little bit more length on that rope to develop than non-lottery picks. But he got drafted in the first round, which is good enough. And I think he's definitely going to play with a chip on his shoulder and play at a high level. I'm excited. Listen, guys, like this whole last year, I kind of took a step back from Suns, watching the Suns, and I was watching from afar and stuff like that. I'm back, man. I want to watch this team because I'm excited to see what Koa Peat's going to do. He's single-handedly going to bring me back to watch every single game and be locked in, because I think that he's a tremendous player. And I do think that what the Suns did this year in terms of their development and their growth as a franchise and getting away from the superstardom and what we thought was a guaranteed championship by getting big threes and stuff like that. I think they're trying to do this the right way and develop this the right way. And I think Koa Peat and his championship DNA, this is a kid who won 4 state championships. He's won 4 gold medals. He took the Wildcats to the Final Four. Like, the guy is an absolute winner, and you can't have enough of those on your roster. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Well, Saul, we have talked a ton of Koa Peat, but you are on air right now. I want to let you know the Toronto Raptors have selected Arizona guard JADEN Bradley. Want to let everybody know what JADEN Bradley's all about?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for him. JADEN Bradley, dude, he's a damn dog, and Toronto is going to really, really love having this kid on their roster. I can be biased. I'm not, listen, I'm not gonna shy away from that. But I think his defensive IQ was some of the best in this draft. I think his intelligence, his anticipation on the defensive side was fantastic. I think he can make big shots when needed. He did that multiple times in his college career. Obviously, you guys remember the Big 12 championship against Iowa State, hitting that buzzer beater, a huge shot. Every time, the last 5 minutes of every game for Arizona felt like it was Jaden Bradley time because those clutch minutes were phenomenal for him. Every time it looked like the Wildcats were on the ropes, who's the one that would save the day? Most of the time it was Jaden Bradley. And so I think his demeanor, his approach, the way he plays the game, the high level he plays at, and his work ethic is second to none. So I couldn't be more excited for Jaden to get this opportunity to go to Canada and play for an organization where he's going to get an opportunity to get some run.
Well, Saul, we appreciate you joining us here on our second round draft show. Of course, now that you're all back in on the Suns, we'll have to have you all back in on PHNX Suns. Maybe do like a Koa Peat check-in with you every couple of weeks during the season, and maybe have you on during the offseason to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty when it comes to Koa Peat. But we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
I just want to say this. All right, for everybody out there, okay? This phone didn't ring one time this season, okay? So don't put this shit on me. Like, I'm not the one that just wanted to not come on a Sun show. I never got invited.
We'll get you on.
I'm just saying.
We'll get you on. That phone will ring. You're a busy man. I'm sure that phone's ringing all the time.
No, I mean, listen, man.
Like somebody was calling when he pulled it up. That's why
that's true. It was
back down.
Yeah.
That's why they put it back down. Yeah, look at him. Look at him.
Better things. You don't have a lot of time for the little guy here, Saul. But
listen, Steven, it was just the draft, okay? It was just the draft.
Okay.
It looks busier than it really is. You know what I mean? So, no, listen,
we
guys,
appreciate you.
Anything for you guys. I'm here no matter what. I do appreciate the people showing some love in the chat. I miss you guys, and it'll be fun whenever I get invited back.
Yes, and we'll make sure that happens soon. But we will be back on the other side of our first break.
If you're a regular viewer or listener to this show or any PHNX show, we want to hear from you. Take a short survey. Let us know what you love and how we can improve, and you'll have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Now, if you're a follower of PHNX Suns and you're someone with great taste and impeccable judgment, so head to gophnx.com/survey today to get signed up. And if you're watching right now, you can scan the QR code that's right in front of you on your screen. It takes about 3 minutes, and your feedback will help shape what we do around here today and moving forward. Don't you wish that the Suns front office was open to this kind of feedback? But they're doing well during the draft, so maybe not. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Let your voice be heard. Take the survey today. Scan the QR code on the screen or head to gophnx.com/survey. That's gophnx.com/survey.
When the biggest sporting event in the world is currently happening in our backyard, we have to toast with the icon of celebration. That's Don Julio, 1942 during the 2026 World Cup, and I literally did toast with Don Julio 1942, and let me tell you, it was amazing. Look, not only do they have the original bottle, the icon of celebrations, they also have two new ones for the World Cup. The trophy for legends on and off the field, that's the one behind us here, and the mini for small yet iconic moments. We call it the Gill around here. Look, it's the trophy that everyone can take home, a special edition of Don Julio 1942 that honors the artistry of tequila making. From stadiums to street parties, this release is close to the heart of culture where football, fashion, and flavor collide. Plus, don't miss it tomorrow night, 7 p.m. kickoff. Team USA back in action against Turkey. We're going to be having a watch party at Phillies on Warner. Of course, all of our watch parties brought to you by our friends over at Don Julio. So whether at your favorite spot, at one of our watch parties, or just stocking up at home, you have to make it Don Julio 1942.
Welcome back into PHNX Suns Draft Live, which of course is presented by our friends over at 1AZ Credit Union. We are winding down last 9 picks of day 2 of the NBA draft, and it gets difficult to get through. This is a long draft, 2 days of draft, and you need some fuel.
Well, we don't have any fuel. Anybody know where we can get some Circle K?
Circle K snacks?
Anybody?
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Hey.
Wow.
All for me.
Hey.
Time out. Here,
Hey.
you can have these.
Hey.
Oh, I'll trade you.
This is the same thing?
Flying out of nowhere.
Oh, 2 in the same hand?
Yeah,
That's pretty baller.
That's pretty
I
decent.
gave you my jalapeno chips last night, so I want to trade back for the
Here.
jalapeno chips this
I
time.
really
Take
want some
these.
gummy worms.
You want the gummy worms? Here, I'll give you the gummy. I'll take the peach
Peach rings?
rings. Yeah. All right. Also, look, we appreciate Saul so much for jumping on, but I got to call a little BS with Saul saying his phone didn't ring. I'm looking through our text right now.
No.
And I got a text from him saying, hey, man,
We got
we're
receipts.
more than happy to have you jump on this post-game show right now. And Saul goes, I didn't know the Suns were playing right now when I agreed to come on the post-game show. We'll have to do it another time. Now, hand up. I didn't reach back out after that, but we will figure it out. We will get Saul back. We do appreciate Saul
Can't wait for
coming on here.
Can't wait for the Koa Summer League debut break.
That'd
There
be
you
fire.
go. There you go.
So no Vasar still. We're still watching the second round of the draft as we dig into our Circle K snacks here. But
Clippers back on the clock.
What'd you guys think about what Saul had to say about Koa?
I liked it a lot. I the insight that he had, the honesty I mentioned it when I talked to him about just saying that he wished that he would have liked to see Koa come back, but also this is a guy who plays well with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to develop. And I think the other part of it that he mentioned, maybe press a different button. That's kind of what I was stressing about the player development part of it. He had a year to develop there. It didn't necessarily work the way that many thought it might have because his draft stock fell and the jumper is still a big question mark. So now what's it going to look like when he's developing in an NBA system, when he's going to 5G every day? I don't know, but I'm willing to probably go out there and say I don't think Arizona has a NOAA system in their basketball practice facility. So when you have that, talk about what that does for a player's shooting and their development from that perspective as well. Spending time with the Valley Suns, all these things that are going to contribute to what Koa can do. He has all the tools to do it, but it's up to him to put it together, and it's up to the coaching staff to put him in positions to do it. So it's very exciting to see what will come of all of that.
I like that he highlighted and emphasized the winning part of it because we can talk about all of these different things about skill set and talk about efficiencies, talk about deficiencies, talk about where we would like to see a player grow, talk about where a player's strengths are and how those would translate to the league. All that stuff is awesome. But if your consistent common denominator is winning and winning and winning and winning.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Clippers trading 52 to the Bucks, and the pick is in.
Interesting.
Could this be where Henry Vasar comes into play here? Because Vasar is the only player in my my 10 best players available
To start the day.
To start the day. By the way, he was my second favorite player to start the day behind Isaiah Evans. Vasar still available. This pick looks like it will be traded. But will it be Vasar to the Bucks?
There it is.
Okay.
Hawks.
There to the Hawks?
The Hawks.
Oh, not the Bucks.
The Hawks.
Oh.
That makes a lot of sense for them for sure.
And that is yet another Mark Williams suitor out of the game.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
Well, maybe not. I won't go that far yet with Atlanta. And I say that because they weren't too happy for either of the two pieces they had in their front court last season. So this checks off the box for just one of those front court spots.
I mean, there's Asa Newell too. They drafted last year, and I don't know
Exactly.
what they expect him to become or
Sure.
be. But there's
Sure.
there's that part of it as well.
He's a great pick, great value. 52
52.
for Vasar. I had a first round grade on him, man. I mean, I think Atlanta instantly has a playable big. Now, how playable he's going to be, clearly something got flagged. Looked like his agent also had a little nonsense going on. His agent, by the way, is on an all-time bad run. He had a $5 million NIL deal to return to UNC that his agent told him not to take because he was going to be a first-round pick in this year's draft. So he forgoes $5 million at UNC, doesn't become a first-round pick, falls to the 52nd pick, but goes to a place in Atlanta where it does feel like he is going to have room to play. I can see him playing alongside Onyeka, which I think is going to be really fascinating. I can see him playing next to Gay as well. Like he's a good piece there for them. Back to Koa though, because I know we're watching the draft, but I want to talk about Koa. The chip on his shoulder part just continues to kind of ring in my head. It makes me feel more comfortable with him actually working out for the long run because he knows that his NBA life will be on the line. No 30th picks career is guaranteed. And when you look at this list of 30th picks that I listed off yesterday and then I tweeted earlier today, you've got a lot of guys who got it out of the mud, who got it off of hustle, like Josh Hart, who doesn't really have a reliable jump shot. He's not afraid to take them, but does literally everything else as an undersized guy who has his specific skills. So can you channel that? Use that chip on your shoulder and take advantage of a situation where there might be some playing time for you this year and there might be some space for you going forward. It makes me so much more comfortable with taking him.
My thing that I think about as far as that goes, especially the playing time and the chip on your shoulder and his competitive nature and being a winner, as you mentioned, I think that
trying to mention,
as you were trying to mention, what I see and what I envision so much with him is him taking these matchups personally, summer league, training camp, seeing the guys who are getting time or who are ahead of him in the rotation. I'm going at you. I have a feeling that he's going to really play with something to prove, to try to give this coaching staff no choice but to play him. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like. He's going to have some learning things that he's going to have to learn. It's going to be growing pains for sure. He's a rookie in the NBA with some flaws that we all know about. But I expect it to be very competitive with him trying to earn playing time, and I expect us to see him play at a certain capacity just because of how his talent alone will allow him to win a lot of those matchups when the time comes.
I think there's a lot to say about a guy that can come in as a rookie, and you have the expectations that he will undoubtedly raise the competition bar. And I mention that part because for a team that has, 8 or 9 separate individual pieces, including their head coach, that in multiple ways over the course of this most recent season did just that, whether it be in-game, halftime, mid-quarter, practice between games, shoot around. We've seen and heard about all of these different moments that each player has had doing that. If you can rely on a rookie that's won at pretty much every level to come in and do that and just kind of add to that nucleus, add to that foundation you've established, I think past the individual skill part, we look at the intangibles. He's a match in terms of that and all of those things in an off-the-court sense that I think that helps to build out what the Suns are hoping to do going forward, even potentially past the Devin Booker era of play.
And he seems just so thrilled to be here, too. Obviously, you hear, oh, he's going to be the hometown kid. And, of course, the hometown kid is going to be excited. But I think there's some genuine relief that this entire saga is over, right? All he has heard for the last couple of months is about how bad his draft stock is, how he should go back to school. And say what you want about being mentally strong or believing your own process. Like, this is a 19-year-old kid. If you don't think he's at least a little bit online, I don't know what to tell you. So you see and you hear all of these things about trusted voices too. Non-haters saying that you should go back to school, going against the grain, doing what you feel like is best for you. And then as draft day goes on, the team that maybe you feel like the most comfortable picking you doesn't have a first round pick. Names tick off the board. And it's not like the Suns traded for the 30th pick at 25. Right? They waited until the last possible second to trade for it, and then all of that tension eventually just completely washes away. You fulfill your childhood dream. You are a first-round pick, and now you can go to work for your hometown team. That's got to give you this kind of like renewed sense of energy and passion and hunger to go and attack this opportunity, and just a little bit of relief alongside of it.
And I'd be remiss to not talk about his pedigree, not just as a winner, but he's not the first pro out of his family. So a lot of times they talk about, you hear players talk about how hard it is to play at home. And there are a lot of difficulties and things that come with that because a lot of those players don't have.
I got assaulted with sea salt roasted almonds.
Wake up.
There are worse things to be sea salted with, yeah.
There you go. But a lot of those people don't have the blueprint of other pros. They can ask. You can ask, Big Bro, who's been playing, had a long career and still doing it as far as that goes. So it's not like he doesn't have the guidelines as far as how to be a professional or navigating some of the difficulties that come. And also the people that are in this support system here aren't the same type of support system. It's a professional support system in that sense because they know what it's like to support pros as well. So I think that's something else that's going to give him a boost as far as playing at home, whereas it might get in the way for other people. I think that's going to be an added bonus for him, not just the comfort part, but having that support system that close because they know how to support people on that high-level athletic, high-level professional journey. He's just the next one down that line.
I think the other thing in addition to all of that, when you look at the context specific to the Suns, I think there was Jordan Knott was able to maximize so many other role players for the team last season because of the clear-cut communication and expectations on role, why those expectations are specific to you based off of what your top-tier skills are, but also having that gray area of like, hey, Royce, I know you can shoot. You also have an underrated playmaking ability that we're going to need. So when we get in our special team situations, we're going to need you on the court for your shooting, but it's going to also be us needing to lean into you for your inbound passing and playmaking ability there. In addition to that, with your gray area, we also need you to put the ball on the deck at times. You shoot north of 40%. We're going to make sure we get you to your spots to make sure we create those closeouts that we value as much as anything to our offensive identity. But we also need you to put the ball on the deck, and we'll give you some creative freedom in that gray area with your playmaking and your ability to put the ball on the deck. Now, you can copy and paste that in respect to each of the role players from Grayson to Colin, even to Dillon Brooks to a certain extent. In the gray areas, he was conceded as long as he held up on his top tier skills. I think that kind of understanding of what a player can bring and having that kind of
The Knicks traded for Cash again? Or?
wow.
That's funny.
Dang.
The pick they just had, because they have another pick coming
So
up.
it's supposed to be
Wow.
sure.
Ugana Onyeso to the Pistons for cash.
Sure.
God, dude. All time. Wow.
Wow,
I mean,
man,
tough.
that's tough, man. You get drafted with the glitch.
Yeah.
On
This
that's,
is the new Taco Bell Nikola Jokic commercial picture.
I will say that, man. Let Jay Jones make that a part of your journey. You go out and become an NBA player, and they be like, "Oh, remember when they didn't have your full face on the screen?" Which sucks in the moment. You've been dreaming about this entire life, but you're still an NBA player, and you get a chance to make this look silly as far as that goes. So he is going to Golden State. I feel like Golden State last year had the 54th pick, and they took Will Richards.
Yeah.
And he made
Way too many wills in the NBA.
yeah, you got to have the will to win. But sorry.
Oh, this is even the Knicks pick. It's the Rockets pick.
Right, yeah. Whatever the Knicks are doing, they probably draft somebody that's going to get stashed, and they just been trading down over and over and over again. And they have a bunch of guys. I don't know what's going on, but you know what? They won a championship, so that's all it goes. But we got 6 picks left here. I guess we can kind of not reflect fully because the draft isn't over yet. But I guess my thought is there anything else you have your eye on as it pertains to the big picture with what we've seen already, with the teams that are on the clock, with the Suns? I don't think they're going to get back in it at this point in time. I think that it's the undrafted free agent market. But
yeah,
there are some guys. I mean, like, who knows? Maybe Toby Awaka goes undrafted, and then there's something that happens there. Or we got Freckle Mama saying, ooh.
A Wildcat is on the way.
Well,
I mean,
the
Rockets are trading the Clippers.
There are way too many Wildcats in the NCAA, let's just say.
So it's going to be Awaka because, I mean.
There's nobody left from Kentucky?
I mean, oh, well, wait, yeah, maybe. I don't see any Kentucky guys.
Anybody left from Villanova?
Kylan Boswell, former Wildcat, could be somebody. I'm surprised Graham Ike hasn't been drafted. I know he was kind of a pre-draft riser a little bit.
Could be somebody from Northwestern. And Shams is from Chicago.
Ooh, yeah, Nick Martinelli. Are they the Wildcats?
Yeah.
Everybody's the Wildcats.
That's way too many Wildcats in the
Way too many Wildcats in the NCAA.
See, you wasn't listening when I said that. You thought I was.
No, I didn't hear you say that at all.
Hey, there's an echo.
I think so.
Is there an echo?
You know it's hot outside too.
It is hot outside. Did you know that?
Do you know the reference?
No.
Oh well, you know the reference? Yeah.
You mean like the way too many blanks in the NBA reference?
No, we'll watch Pootie Tang sometime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad.
No, we will not. Nope.
That's actually our next watch party.
Yeah,
day 1, day 2.
Make sure
Pootie Tang and then Dark Knight.
Make sure it's while I'm on vacation.
No, I think if we're talking Suns specifically, it's definitely going to be the two-way market or just like Summer League invites. When you look at Summer League, I really need them to get like just a good true point guard who doesn't want to be the star. Somebody who's willing.
Hey, you're the most important player on the court, but don't be the star.
They would be the most important player on the court.
Do your job.
Robert McRae, who's somebody the Suns worked out, he has not been drafted
Former
yet.
Demon Deacon.
So I wonder if he is somebody that, possibly the Suns would want on a two-way. Kylan Boswell is somebody who plays guard and played at a decently high level in college. So maybe he's somebody the Suns would look at on a two-way as well. Nick Boyd out of Wisconsin is somebody the Suns could maybe look at on not a two-way. I'm talking Summer League invite. Two-way, probably not right now. I don't know if there's anybody that I would maybe I guess because Livers can't be on a two-way, so
Can't
you
wait.
do have to.
You have to get a new two-way.
Yeah.
Oh, I said a new two-way. You have to get a new two-way contract. I don't know what am I talking
I'm
about.
like, huh? What's that?
So we'll see. We'll see what's going on right now with the 55th pick that we have
That is
learned
now the
about.
Clipper.
The Wildcat that is on the way from the Rockets to the Clippers. We'll see what Wildcat it is. This is that's a way to spoil the pick without
That's
spoiling
actually
the pick.
great. Yeah, that's great though. Like it just starts saying
I'm going,
really basic.
I'm going
college
Martinelli.
basketball.
I think it's
For
Martinelli.
the Clippers, Awaka. Yeah, it is Nick
Martinelli.
Martinelli, boom.
There it is. It makes too much sense. The Chicago guy will go with the Northwestern Wildcat. So good for him. Good for Northwestern. I know they've gotten a guy drafted in the last couple drafts now. I know last year it was the guy's name I can't think of right now. But
yeah, that guy.
Yep, that guy. I can't think of it. He's in OKC though.
Barnhizer?
Yeah, Brooks Barnhizer. Brooks Barnhizer.
Yeah, who could forget?
I could.
You.
I obviously could. But listen, we'll still see what happens if that Arizona Wildcat's off the board. Maybe Tobe Awaka is an opportunity for a two-way or just a training camp invite or summer league invite with the Phoenix Suns. But we will get to all of that as we wind down here after our next.
Arizona road trip fans, this one's for you. The Arizona Lottery is celebrating 100 years of the iconic Mother Road with brand new Route 66 scratchers. Take a ride on the winning side, and you can find yourself heading towards a top prize of $100,000. Route 66 scratchers are also loaded with $100 prizes, making them a fun way to celebrate Arizona's most legendary highway. And if you're looking to dream even bigger, pair your Route 66 ticket with the Ultimate Riches Scratcher as well. And Ultimate Riches gives players a chance to win up to $3.5 million. Whether you're a long-time Arizona Lottery player or just looking for a little excitement on your next stop, Route 66 and Ultimate Riches Scratchers offer plenty of chances to win. So pick up your tickets today at your favorite Arizona Lottery retailer. You'll hear about one here in a second, and see if your next stop is a big one. Arizona Lottery, love the play.
I love a lot about Arizona. I love playing Arizona Lottery. I love getting Arizona Lottery tickets at Circle K, which they're everywhere here in Arizona, and they fuel my car, but they also fuel me. We've been fueled on Circle K snacks during day 1 and 2 of this draft, and I keep my car filled up with gas from Circle K, and I get the most out of it because I'm an Inner Circle member over
Congrats,
at
Phil.
Circle. Thank you, and I think you are too, right?
For a while, yeah.
And you're in the Inner Circle too, right? So we're all in the Inner Circle. You should be in the Inner Circle because it pays off. It's a free membership program. It's easy to download, easy to get enrolled. Use your phone number, and you can score Circle K deals. Like when you want to get something
Sea
to
salt
drink,
roasted almonds?
some sea salt roasted almonds. You want a 79-cent Polar Pop. You want a 99-cent Froster to beat the heat and stay hydrated. You can do that as an Inner Circle member over at Circle K. So be like us. Get some snacks. Join Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for all of the details.
No fist bumps, though.
Not this time. Oh, maybe this time. Back here at the PHNX Suns Draft Day live show presented by our friends at 1AZ Credit Union. And we are at pick 56.
I didn't know if you were ready. Well, Blue Sharks?
Couple Blue Sharks.
Those are Steven's favorite, right? No, Steven likes the peach rings, yeah?
Blue Sharks #1
Blue Sharks are number one.
on the candy side. I got a bag.
Oh, excuse me. I'm not a bro.
Pulls it out. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not a Blue Shark guy, but we'll just
I mean, I've been eating the peach rings. Yeah, you just have it right there.
Pro-
So,
probably right there.
I have a Koa Peat question for you guys.
I have a Koa Peat answer for you.
I mean, that's a terrible throw, Freckled Mamba. That's
I mean, I was just he's like 8 for 9.
I was due for one.
What if I throw this back at him?
His
huh?
QBR is
Then
pretty
what?
good today.
Then
So
what?
you're
Yeah,
just
you can have those.
So if the stream ended, we know what happened.
Computer's done and got taken out by a bag of Circle K gummy worms. Koa Peat question for you.
pretty Wrigley worms.
If Koa would be on the court in the 2026-2027 season for the Suns, and we feel like we know what the roster is, let's assume that Mark Williams is back. What's the ideal lineup for Koa Peat? Obviously, Book's out there. So, duh. Who else?
I'm going small ball. So I put him out there. I put him being Koa out there with let's say he's out there with Dillon Brooks.
Okay.
So Koa Peat and Dillon Brooks, 5'4", whoever you want to throw at the 5, cool.
Oh,
Or
Koa's the
4,
5.
cool.
Okay.
Whichever, 5'4". Mix in probably Royce O'Neal to make that lineup make a little bit more sense on the defensive end. And then you have 2 more spots outside of Devin. So let's go I can see him out there with Jalen Green. And you want to throw a fifth name out there?
Wouldn't
Thought
that
you
be,
thought you
that'd be
had
fine
five.
with
Five.
Book? That'd
Is
be
that
fine.
five?
You said
Book,
Book,
Jalen,
Jalen?
Royce, Dillon, Koa.
Yeah, there we go. That's the 5. Because it's hard to plug and play him with one of your other 5s on the court, because Kaman has his flaws, Oso has his flaws, and then Mark obviously has his tough puzzle piece ability.
I'm going to take that what you just said and either replace Royce with one of the youngins, either Man or Rasheer. And this is
like Rasheer.
this is all dependent on their development being what it needs to be.
Mhm.
But I like the idea of Man's confidence in shooting it from behind the arc. I think that mechanically it's going to be a matter of time before he's hitting them. But Rasheer, we've seen it, in a couple of games. So that lineup is very fun to me. I think you have Book and Jalen kind of operating in their spaces and doing what they do, and then Koa just eats off of what they have going on, slash, cut, make good cuts. I think that's going to be like the big thing for him right away. Like, how well can he play off the ball as far as being a cutter and going to the right place and letting those guys find him, and then finishing when he has the opportunity to. That's where the athleticism and the strength comes into place. And I think that's where the talent and measurables make him such an intriguing prospect that can contribute right away.
Yeah, see, those are all good, but it's this. It's Oso Ighodaro, Koa Peat, Ryan Dunn, Haywood Highsmith, Dillon Brooks. No, I'm kidding. Colin Gillespie. I got Colin Gillespie at the 1. I think having a plus shooter and a guy who, I know that, Koa isn't Oso, but I feel like 2 of them have really high basketball IQ. So I think that there could be maybe like a similar type of chemistry between the 2 of those players. Koa is a very, very smart offensive player. He sets good screens and is a good passer. So I want Colin and I want Koa. Obviously, Devin Booker out there as well. Give me Dillon Brooks. I need a lot of offense, a lot of shooting, and a lot of ability to handle the ball. Those are going to be 3 guys that are handling the ball a ton. But without I think having Jalen out there is great, but those are some more consistent scorers with Colin, Dillon, and Book. They don't have as low of lows usually as Jalen might have. Now, if Jalen's on a heater, then you just take Colin out and you put Jalen in. But I'm putting Rasheer at the 5. I put in Rasheer at the small ball 5 when he was getting minutes at the end of the season before the playoffs and he kind of got taken out of the rotation. He was playing that small ball 5 lineup and very effectively as well. He'll be kind of that rim protecting forward. I think his 3-point shot is much more scalable for actual NBA play this year than Kaman Malawach's is in 2 years. I think Kaman Malawach is clearly the answer to put next to Koa at the 5, but you've got a lot of physicality with Koa at the 4, and then you got a lot of length and athleticism at the 5 with Rasheer with that 3-point shot, and then a bunch of shooters and ISO creators, but are also 2+ passers in Colin and Book outside of that. So that's the 5 that I would like out there with Koa, but I think you can throw Grayson Allen in there. That'd be a great fit next to Koa. I think Royce O'Neal would be a great fit next to Koa. I don't know about any of the other centers, to be honest, but I also don't know about Koa being a center unless you are facing a super, super, super small ball team.
So that brings up something else, because I said it, you said it as well. Thinking about the fact that both Koa and Man are 19 years old, and they are 2 of the future pieces that you are building your franchise around. I'm curious, as for the next 6 to 12 months with those guys specifically, they're going to need to learn how to play with and alongside one another and off of one another. And I'm curious what you guys think is the best method for that happening. Summer League is going to be very important for those guys, but that's just going to be, if it goes right for Man, just like 2 games. And then at that point, it's training camp, it's preseason, and I don't necessarily know if they're ready for prime time and playing in NBA games. But in what ways do you want to see those guys learn how to play off of one another, and how do you think is the best late plan for that happening?
Specifically between Pete and Malawach?
Yes.
Well, I don't foresee Kaman spending too much more time on the G League stage.
Right.
And I do see that Koa might spend a lot of time down there in his first season, especially if he's kind of along the lines of what you were mentioning yesterday, in like a redshirt freshman season in some capacity, or redshirt rookie season, if you will. Yeah. So I find it hard to see them spending time on the court together for that reason in particular. But if they are spending time on the court together, it's going to be Kaman finding his stride offensively. I think the defense is decent enough. His offense has a lot of catching up to do based off of how he ended the season. And then for Koa, it's just him finding some confidence and leaning into whatever that might be. So if his drives hit right away, maybe he's an answer to the drives and putting pressure on the rim piece that the Suns need to answer to in the ways that he can do that. And I think that's something that could find a way for them to match timelines and spend time on the court together.
What do you think is the most surprising combination of players that you think could work with Koa and someone? Is it Koa? Like, could Koa and Oso, surrounded by 3 really great shooters, work at all? Could Koa and Mark work at all?
I think it's Koa and Jalen Green.
Ooh.
I would go that route because, again, if you're talking about someone that defenses are going to give less attention to concede more attention to someone else, Jalen Green is the best downhill threat. Jalen Green gets downhill. Koa Peat's left open. Koa Peat's taking wide open middies. Or Koa Peat is able to drive off of a Jalen Green drive into an advantage and then play bully ball closer to the paint. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me in terms of what will help get a little bit more out of Koa in some capacity.
The thing that I think about when you said those 2 names specifically, I thought about how I marveled at the small sample size that we saw defensively of Ryan Dunn and Rasheer Fleming playing with one another and just wreaking havoc. What kind of fun lineup could you see with just young athletes that are just wreaking havoc and just running the floor, even if it's only for 3 or 4 minutes in an entire game? And who's the guy that's running the show? You know, is it Colin that kind of gets things in order? I think him playing on the ball in that small of a space could work. And is it, some of the young wings that you have just learn how to play with one another and you go be our energy group? That is what would be very intriguing and fun to me.
Like, let's just say that another team is kind of running rampant over you. They're scoring at will. The starters maybe just don't have it on a random Tuesday night at the end of January, beginning of February. And you put out Colin as your energy guy, your offensive engine, your playmaker, and then you do Ryan, Koa, Rasheer, and Oso for 2 minutes. Just go out there and don't let them score and fly around and disrupt things. Now, that would be very dependent on Koa Peat even being in the rotation at this point, which I certainly think is far from guaranteed. He'll need to be a rather consistent offensive option a little bit outside of the paint to even get minutes at this point. A really great offensive rebounder. Him and Jordan Goodwin, I think that would be a really fun combination. But
Havoc too.
If Dunn's 3-point shot is just a little bit more steady, which I know we've been saying for a couple years, but sometimes it takes a couple years. Colin's obviously a really great 3-point shooter. If Rasheer shows what he did post All-Star break from 3-point land can be consistent in a pretty small sample size, but he was taking a couple a game and hitting a few. Like, that is actually more offensively viable in a non-playoff, non-must-win situation, and probably against like a young, athletic, fun team that's really high-octane offense. It seems sustainable for a very short stretch as a change of pace, but I don't even know if Koa's going to be in the rotation this year. I think Koa's going to get a lot of minutes on the Valley Suns, and I think that's great for him. And then he's going to get spot minutes. It'll probably be pretty similar to what we saw out of Rasheer and Kaman this year, where he's not in the rotation at the beginning of the year. He's going down to the G League. Maybe it's a little rough for him to start things off. He's working through some things, finds it on the G League level, then around the trade deadline, plays a couple of spot minutes here or there, brings some energy on the big leagues team, and then goes into the summer with just a little bit of momentum on that front.
Well, the 3 picks left in this draft. We're winding down here. We've got 1 ad break left here as well. So we're going to send it to our final break and get back here and break down what we see for the remainder of this draft and what we've seen throughout the draft and what it all means for your Phoenix Suns.
Mountain America Credit Union, the exclusive home of the Suns card, and of course the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns. But the Phoenix Suns, well, they're out of season. Yeah, it's maybe draft night 2, but the Phoenix Mercury are in season, and Mountain America Credit Union, also the official credit union of your Phoenix Mercury. Good thing they have a debit and a credit card. So get the Suns card as the debit card, the Mercury card as the credit card, and you're feeling real good. You can pair that Suns debit card with your My Style checking account to unlock extra benefits like telehealth access, loan rate discounts, mobile phone protection, offers on travel and events, and more, in case you wanted more with that. And then, of course, if you get that Mercury credit card, it's a no annual fee credit card available as low rate, cashback, or rewards cards options. Mount America is here to guide you forward on your financial journey. Get your Suns card today. Apply to any Arizona branch. Visit macu.com/Suns to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit.
When I say the 2 words, Window Depot, you know what's coming next.
It's only a Window Depot. It's a Depot store.
No,
It's a
no,
depot
no, no,
store.
no. It's more than just
It's
a
a
window
depot
store. It's
store
no,
as
no,
well.
no.
He's a doubter.
It's a
He
depot
doesn't
store.
believe.
the window
Gil.
depot.
Tell
See,
him.
windows are what they do.
It's more than a window
But it's
store.
more than a window
It's a depot
store.
store.
It's exactly
See?
windows, doors, cabinets, countertops. They stock more.
Where do you
so
put the pot?
On the countertop. They stock more. You spend less. No waste of time. No gimmicks. It's more than just a window store. 8 locations across Arizona, and the windows are made in Tucson. So if you live in Phoenix, Surprise, Chandler, Tucson, Marana.
I heard Koa Peat was making the windows.
That's what he was doing this past year, and that's what got him taken in the first round. There's one near you, wherever your job site or project, home, or arena might be. So visit thewindow.depot.com and get started on your next project today. Stop by one of their 8 locations and see for yourself why they're way more than just a window store. Shop online, pick up in store, browse and order directly from thewindow.depot.com with real-time access to in-stock products for your nearest location. Get what you need when you need it at the Window Depot. Back here at the PHNX Suns shows, PHNX Suns Draft Day Live, presented by 1AZ Credit Union. We've had a great time the past 2 days. You guys hanging out with us here. Over 200 of you guys hanging out with us here through day 2 and round 2 of the NBA draft, and we appreciate each and every one of you that are here. 2 picks now left in the draft. They're on pick 59, but as we spin things forward, thinking about the Phoenix Suns and what the next few drafts will look like for the Suns, because notoriously they have parted ways with some draft capital in the past couple years, and they parted ways with some draft capital today. So where the future looks and where the future stands for the Phoenix Suns as it pertains to draft capital, we have an updated look of what that is and what that looks like. And Eric, you want to run through it? How dire is it? In your opinion?
One, what we've learned is that it's very, I don't say easy, but attainable to trade for picks. But that being said, the Suns did not have a first-round pick coming into this season. They will have a first-round pick going into next year. It will not be their own first-round pick. That first-round pick is owed to Houston, but it was originally sent to Brooklyn for the first Durant trade and then eventually rerouted to Houston via Brooklyn-Houston trade. So Houston Rockets will have the Suns pick next year for a Kevin Durant trade that didn't involve the Houston Rockets and the Suns. Yeah. Chew on that for a second. Anyway, the Suns will get the most favorable first-round pick from Utah, Cleveland, or Minnesota. This is from the trade that they made when it seemed like they were pursuing Jimmy Butler. They traded one of their future first-round picks for 3 protected first-round pick swaps a couple of seasons ago. This is one of those, so they will have a first-round pick, the most favorable from Utah, Cleveland, or Minnesota. They will not have a second-round pick of their own. Next year, it is owed to the 76ers or the Wizards. In 2028, they're getting the least favorable first-round pick from the Nets, 76ers, or Wizards, so a decent crop of teams there. The 76ers, sure, who knows in 2028, maybe the Sixers are a good team, but you will have a first-round pick, and then their second-round pick goes to the Pacers or the Knicks. And then in 2029, the Suns, their first-round pick is owed to the Rockets or Nets, and their second-round pick is owed to the Knicks. So 2029, they do not have a first-round pick or a second-round pick. In 2030, they have the least favorable first-round pick for the Suns, Wizards, and Grizzlies, and their second-round pick is owed to the 76ers or the Wizards. So you'll notice a lot of these second-round picks are traded away. You will start to see some of these moves the Suns had made over the last couple of years to move up in the second round or to move up this year. Those picks are now gone, so you will have to trade or buy picks, but as we've seen from every draft, you can do that. How are you guys feeling? So you have a pick next year, a pick the year after that, no first-round pick in 2029, and then another first-round pick in 2030. So 3 out of the next 4 drafts, the Suns will be picking in the first round if they don't make another trade.
I think they find a way to get into the draft, into the first round in 29 in some capacity. No different than they did this year. Go into it without one, find a way to get one for a piece that makes sense for what it is you're working to establish. Rinse and repeat in some capacity, 3 years from now?
I'm going to keep banging the drum and saying that, well, first, that what you said, if they want to get in the first round, they will. We saw it this year. If it's something that they want to do, they will find a way to do it, and it's not an issue. They're not thinking about that right now, but we'll see how this upcoming season goes. Trey Kaufman-Renn going 59, by the way, to Minnesota, I guess that is. But when they are thinking about that, when we get to May and we get to June next year, probably even sooner than that, when they start evaluating prospects this college basketball season and they see somebody that they might want to go in the first round or they don't feel comfortable with the uncertainty around that pick as far as the favorability and all that stuff goes with the 3 teams that they're dealing with, they'll make it happen. And the other thing, and I'm going to continue to bang on the drum, is what I was saying with this, is in a lot of ways, it sounds cliche. It's a little canned, but their 2027 first-round pick is on the roster now. Koa Peat is their 2027 first-round pick. The guy who, if he developed a little bit, was going to be a lottery pick next year by many accounts. That is what you're developing him to be, because next year he's going to be 20, and look at him as a sophomore out of Arizona, but just with a year of NBA development under his belt. The same way, obviously, hopefully knock on wood, not injury sense, but the same way we saw Chet Holmgren redshirt his first year with Oklahoma City and come ready to play in year 2. We've seen it happen so much. Look at this year as kind of a little bit of I mean, Michael Porter Jr., again, because of injury, but he got to play in the bubble as a rookie, and then he came out polished because he had a year of NBA development under his belt. So that is your first-round pick next year by all intensive purposes, but you also have whoever you get from that crop of teams.
You also have your 2029 first-round pick on the roster. Come on, Malawatch. No, I think Kaman
You just said he was 2 years away from being a year away.
No, I think Kaman will be good by then. I feel good about where the Suns are in the draft because I feel good about the Suns front office. That is what this draft has once again shown me, is that I can trust this front office. Now, you know, maybe they're just on a year-long Linsanity run and it's going to dry up, but I don't think so, because you've done amazing getting Goodwin and Gillespie at a solid price below market value for both of them before free agency even starts. You navigated the KD trade last year. You navigated the draft well. You've identified your guys. Your development seems to be going well. You go into this year's draft, you trade up to get Koa Peat with the 30th pick. We've talked ad nauseum, and we'll probably continue to talk ad nauseum about how great we think that move was. And there's still more to go. You have got Mark Williams, but guess what? I don't feel nervous about the Mark Williams situation because I don't feel nervous about this front office. I think they're going to make the right decision. And maybe that's naive of me, and maybe I just want to trust the front office because I have not trusted my front office for so long. But they've earned at least most of that trust right now. And until they do something that breaks that for me, then I'm not going to feel any differently. So I'm excited about Koa. I'm excited about what the Suns have in the future. They have a very large crop of young players after having no future at all. So that is how quickly things can change in the NBA. And that is how you navigate maybe some of the handcuffs they have on the salary cap wise things and get these young players who are good on rookie contracts. So I feel very good about where the Suns are from an organizational perspective. This upcoming season will be fun, but a good test.
Good test. It's like you mentioned, it could have been a year-long Linsanity run, but there's something in place. There is a structure in place. You can't build a house without bricks, as the Mamba said last night. But I will say you can't build a house without a foundation, and a strong, firm foundation, and a couple of bricks here and there, depending on the type of house you're building. I know nothing about homes, but beside the point. So when you think about what's in place here and the fact that we joke around about alignment, but everybody being on the same page and this, that, and the third, thank you very much, you can't help but feel confident, because at this point, there are very few teams that have the confidence in saying, oh, we know what it's going to look like at this point already. We basically know what this team is going to look like in 4 months' time when opening night rolls around. So a lot can go into that from a positive sense if you look at it glass half full and rather than half empty, that you know what you have and you know what needs to be improved upon from last year. So
I want to give some shout outs because the pick is in for the 60th pick for the Washington Wizards. So first things first, want to shout out Brian Windhorst's hair. My Lord, that guy's got some crisp hair, man. He's got a good head of hair on him.
So do you.
Thank you. Not really. $1.99 super chat from B Entertainment says, can I get a shout out for the audio? Every time you get a super chat, brother, you can get a shout out because we'll read super chats that everybody sends. But also shout out to everybody who watched a second round where the Suns did not hold a draft pick with us, including people from Italy, Taiwan, Australia, Gilbert, every part of the globe, different Gilbert. People have tuned in for this draft show. I know we had a lot of fun, especially last night, but even today, talked a lot of ball, and we'll be back tomorrow. So shout out to everybody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and thanks for spending day 2 of the draft with us.
And I guess we're finding out who pick 60 is, who will make a name for themselves for being the last one selected, but also here in their NBA.
Isaiah Thomas.
Again, I can see him, the eye emoji. Here's a 60 pick open. Oh, we're getting thank yous and all this stuff. And there's a picture of LeBron from draft night up on the
famous 60th pick. LeBron
yeah, of course,
James.
right?
Read the name, dude.
Come on, Mark. What we doing?
Want to go home?
What you got for us, man?
They take Koa Peat because he's actually back.
Malik Lewis from
From
Trinidad
Trinidad
and Tobago.
Hell yeah. No better way to end it.
No better way to end it. Washington starts the draft and they end the draft. So that's pretty interesting.
He's got the GOAT on his jersey.
Oh, that's NBL. Wrapping up with the NBL guy as well. Steven, any final thoughts from draft night from you? Or draft nights?
Yeah, Suns did what they came to do. They got a player that they valued as high as anything relative to where they could imagine they could trade up to, and they got out of there. Added to their nucleus, added to their summer league roster, made the anticipation for summer league that much more. And now they have another kind of blue chip piece that they're putting stock in going forward.
Well, echoing the sentiment from Eric, you guys hung out with us for 2 days. We had a lot of fun last night. We learned about the trade. That's maybe one of our biggest in-moment reactions that we've had, especially in this studio. Probably that, and then Devin Booker being an all-star this year, probably the two best reactions we've had in a time. That was fun. See, look, we had a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here at PHNX Suns. So on the way out, make sure to like and subscribe to us. You can continue to have fun with us throughout the all season. Next up is us finding out what undrafted free agents the Suns pick up, and we will have you covered with that if you follow us at PHNX_Suns, because Summer League is right around the corner. So for the Freckle Mamba, who you can follow at Freckle Mamba, one more shout out for him for making it all happen for us these past 2 nights. Could not have done it without him. Steven, who you can follow at Steven PG3, and that is Steven with a PH because he keeps us balanced. Took that one from you. I haven't said that one in a long time. I haven't said that one. Oh,
yeah, and I'm getting you the fist bump.
Whoa, Eric didn't leave me hanging, so shout out to him. ERIKRUPY, where you can follow him. You can follow me at Gil McGregor with an _. Please don't leave me hanging there. Awesome. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We will see you back here tomorrow. Normal time. We'll talk more about the draft week that was and what is to come for the Suns. See ya.
We all city like the mayor.